Welcome to the Foul Play YouTube channel.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 38 of the Open Mic. Today we've got some new information. I think everybody will find it interesting. Not going to solve the case.
Welcome to the Foul Play YouTube channel.
Somebody needs to mute. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to number 38. All right. Today we've got some new information. Thank you. Okay, there we go. Sunshine Christina did a FOIA recently and got a pretty good return. This was to, actually, it was a couple of FOIAs. One was to MTSO, Sheriff's Department, and the other one was to Michael Kleiser. Somebody please correct me on how I'm saying this guy's name, because I'm probably butchering it. I call him Michael Kleiser. He is of course, the coroner that signed the death certificate in Teresa's case. So some pretty good information there, and we also have some new RAV4 photos. Many we've seen, but there's some that have not been seen. So with that said, we'll go down the list here and let everyone say hi right quick so we get recognized voices. And then I'm going to let Christina kind of explain the process of how she went about getting this for you, and let everybody know. So, Alice.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining.
DB.
Hey everyone.
Linda, checking convictions.
Hey, how you doing?
Susan.
Hey everybody.
Yours, my friend.
Hello everybody, welcome in chat. Nice to be here.
Jinxie.
Hey, peoples.
Cyber Cop.
You're done.
Christina.
Hi, everyone.
Tedious.
Hello.
And Zoe.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so Christina, why don't you take whatever time you need and just kind of explain the process of what you did to get the FOIAs that you got.
First off, I just want to say thanks to all the FOIA warriors who jinx everyone. And this one, the first one, what I did is, when we're talking, there'll be a group of us just discussing things, and we'll pick a topic and we'll pull up a form and we'll start discussing it. And I'll notice like something will be said. For instance, the first one we're going to release is a report that's mentioned in the stolen Blazer police report that happened, I think, in September of 2004, which was weeks before or days before Stephen Avery filed his civil suit. And I don't know if they were, why that was linked on the StephenAveryCase.org site, maybe because Stephen's name's mentioned in there, most likely. But there's two police reports mentioned, and they're mentioned with Bobby's interview because Bobby had one of the keys to the car. And there's been a lot of discussion about Bobby lately, and the way the interview reads, you can tell that it has to do with the sex assault complaint, and it also has to do with a welfare check on a minor, or I thought it was a minor. And so I FOIA'd both of those reports. One of them's out of Two Rivers and the other one's out of Manitowoc County. And the one we got today is out of Manitowoc County. And then the other one we have that we're going to present today is for Kleiser. And I think, I don't remember who all we were talking. There was a group of us talking, BB, Jinx, Jax, me, a couple others. And we were just talking about who we should try and reach out to see if they have copies of stuff. And I just said, you know what? The one thing I want to know more about is Teresa's death and how they were able to pull it off, because we know there's issues with the DNA. We know there's issues, and oh, you know what it was? We were talking about trying to get the actual DNA analysis to see how Sherry Colhane was able to say she had a 7 loci match. So I was like, well, that sounds like something that a coroner or a medical examiner would like to have in his report. And so I just wrote Kaiser, and we had a back and forth, probably 5 or 6 emails. He wanted to charge me some money, and I was trying to a whole lot of money. But what was interesting is he said that he wanted $75 for photos. And I'm like, photos? My ears perked up and my eyes got real big because we don't have all the photos. So I was like, damn. So Jax gave me a sheet that shows the normal cost for FOIA request copies. I sent that to him, and he actually emailed me back, and he said that Dane County, or I'm sorry, Calumet County Coroner's Office operates at a deficit, and he will not be waiving the fees, and he doesn't care what the government page says, but he would be happy to discuss the case by phone with me. And I was like, yay, I can't wait to tell everybody that. And then 5 minutes later, I got an email from him saying, I will be resending your reports and your pictures to you free of charge on Monday, and I cannot talk to you on the phone about this case.
But tell him who he had copied on that email.
He had copied she's the corporation counsel attorney, is that right?
Yeah. For Calumet.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Calumet County legal watchdog. She's the corporation counsel attorney, and he had copied her in that email. And when she saw a phone call, she said, hell no, just give her stuff and make her go away.
Yeah.
So then I got it yesterday, and I had a lot of errands, and I really wanted to look at it, the other thing is, not only did he say $75 for photos, he said $75 for photos of the RAV. And there are lots of us who have questions about the RAV. So I was like, huh. So anyway, we got him. Jax and I went over them yesterday, and there's a few we've never seen before. So I'm excited to present them. Hopefully, everyone who's doing their own research, hopefully this will help you figure out another piece to the puzzle.
Excellent. And this is a precursor. I will tell everyone, these photos, you can tell that they're high def. However, apparently Kaiser only had, or is it Kaiser or Kaiser?
I think it's Kaiser because the A comes before the E.
Okay. Kaiser had.
Seeing how you like it.
Yeah.
He had scanned photos. Basically, he had the photos in hand. He didn't have digital copies, which, man, I had told Christina, when you email him back, tell him you want the digital copy, so we have the metadata, and it's higher quality. But all he had was the scanned copies. They actually are not bad, considering, but you can tell that there are high def quality photos of the RAV that we don't have. I don't know how many more that we are not privy to, but this tells us that there are obviously several more. So,
and the quality of the photos, like the type of photography utilized to take these photos, it also tells us that these investigators know how to document a crime scene.
Sure they do. With that said, if you have questions as we go along, please put them in. Linda, Chicken Convictions, and BB and others will try to keep track of those so that we can try to answer those as we go along. We'll break this up into sections because there's going to be some photos, obviously, like I said, we've all seen, but there are others that are going to raise some questions. I know they will. Everything that's going to be presented here. Zoe is working on getting it in the library. I will update the description with all the links once that's done. There just wasn't time to do it today, or before we started. But hopefully by tonight or tomorrow, everything will be linked in one way or another, so everybody has access and can do their own research. So, with that said,
Get on with it, Jack. Get on with it. They want to know. They're dying. They're dying over here.
Everybody's quite
They're
excited.
biting the bit here. They want to see.
It's the RAV. It's the RAV pictures. That's
well, we're gonna save that because that's gonna be the longest discussion. So let's do this other. Let's do the other first.
There's some interesting stuff on Teresa too.
There is.
It was actually a really, really good. I got really lucky with this FOIA.
You did. This first one's going to pop in here. This is the Brian Dassey incident report. And basically, this happened on, well, you know what? This is your FOIA. You talk about it.
So I was trying to remember. I think it's really odd. I think this report happened on September 19th, 2004. And I think the stolen blazer report is like 2 days later. So it possibly could be related to this incident, because when you read, once we go through it, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't done in retaliation for this. So it's a welfare check on Brian J. Dassey. His date of birth is July 15th of 85, so he had just turned 19.
Yeah, he's not a minor, so that's correct.
Yeah, that's right. So he's not a minor. And it said he has a knife and might want to commit suicide because he might be in some trouble, reference trying to kiss a 13-year-old girl who is reporting it to Two Rivers Police Department at this time. He called at 11:41 p.m. The date of this, they're sending the person out is at 1:27 a.m. So actually, the call in would have been on the 18th to Manitowoc to have a welfare check done. The officer doesn't respond until later, like a few hours later when they have a moment. So it's the 19th. So he goes, it's Officer Hornbeck and Todd Herman. Did you notice that last night, Jax?
I did.
And Froelich.
I saw that.
Yep. So 3 officers went out there because it's the Avery residence, you know.
Isn't Froelich, is he a cop or is he I know I've seen that name somewhere before. I thought he was an ADA. Maybe not.
There's
Anyway, go ahead.
2. There's one that works, I believe, works as a sheriff's officer in Manitowoc, and then there is an ADA of Calumet County with a similar name.
Yeah, it's Froelich, but maybe a different name. That's what that prompted me. Thank you, Jinx. Yeah, okay. I remember now.
So it says, made contact, all is okay. He is with his mother. The second page is the narrative. And when you see how much they actually write for this call compared to their summary report for 8 days of activity at the Avery property, you recognize that these cops actually do know how to fill out reports as well. So at 1:31 hours, Deputy Horneck, was advised by dispatch that Two Rivers had information that Brian Dassey was the suspect in a case they were working on and that he may harm himself. Dispatch later advised that the threat had been received at 23:41 hours and it was now 1:27 hours. Deputy J.J. Froelich and I responded to the scene. 9:19 at 1:46 hours. Upon arrival, we were able to locate Brian Dassey and his mother, Barb Yonda. Dassey met us outside and he did appear to be unharmed. Dassey stated he did not have any thoughts of hurting himself, nor had he ever tonight. He advised that he did state to some people that he did not know what he was going to do at this point because of the allegations against him, but he did not mean for that to be taken as a suicidal threat. Yonda stated Dassey has been fine ever since he has been home and that she will be with her son for the remainder of the evening. Dassey stated he was supposed to respond to Two Rivers Police Department to speak with officers, reference the incident, at which time I advised him that it would probably be in his best interest to speak with them as soon as possible while things are fresh in his mind. Yonda advised that she would drag Dassey to Two Rivers Police Department to avoid any incidents. Again, Dassey stated he did not wish to harm himself and he had not made any threats of that nature at all. And it's got his JL Hornick and his initials.
Yep.
So that's it for that one. But now we know, and that was the whole point. Even though it's with Bobby, it's mentioned with Bobby on the Stolen Blazer report, it doesn't have anything to do with him. And I did FOIA Two Rivers for the other report, so we'll get it and we'll see what's going on with that. We'll, I'm sure Jax will make sure we get it loaded to foul play, and so now we know it's not a mystery anymore. And that was the thing for me.
So do we get to talk about this FOIA? Because I find it very interesting that in 2004, he's kissing a 13-year-old girl, and then there's porn a year later on, I think even the exact same day, 9/19/2005, with all of these 12 and younger, 13 and younger, and all of those child searches on 9/18, I think it was 9/18/2005. Are very interesting to me now because that was on a Sunday, and was Brian home? Maybe Brian is the one that was looking at the younger girls. We don't really know.
We got a comment here from Kent 3334. In original police report investigation, they asked either Bobby or Blaine if the truck burning had anything to do with what happened earlier in Two Rivers.
Thank you. That's another reason why I FOIA'd it. Yep.
So they asked if it maybe have had some kind of
it's a payback
or something of now. Who are we saying? Are we saying Brian's incident that was where he kissed a girl that was younger than him? I mean,
have you ever read the report, Jinx? So the report reads basically they talk to Bobby. Bobby says, I haven't drove the vehicle all day. I have my key. Here's my key. Yada yada. And then the officer says, right after his little narrative about Bobby, he says, I want to mention that when I ran this address, 2 reports popped up and they're redacted. It gives the report number. One is a welfare check and one is an allegations of, I think it says, somebody can correct me, but I think it says sexual assault. But until we get the report, he wasn't charged, as far as I know. Because if you look, I ran all their names when I first started the case, and nobody has a documented criminal history as far as that. All the brothers are clean.
So they also remove stuff from that website once in a while. So just because it's not there doesn't mean it's not there.
Until we get the report, we don't really know what happened. That's the whole point of getting them, right? So, yes, Brian's always, and anyone who does research has always said Brian is a possibility. The only issue is investigators pretty much ruled him out of everything because of his girlfriend. He seemed to spend most of his time at his girlfriend's home.
Yeah.
And, so it seemed like who was living in that house at the time briefly before the murder and after the murder were
okay. Saying that who was living at the house, let's remember that Brian said he stopped spending time at the house and spending a lot of time with his girlfriend,
right,
after she broke up with Yonda and Scott was hanging out all the time. That happened in mid-October. So in September, when all of those searches were going on, where was Brian? I hate to say that, but at this point, they have this on their computer, but we don't really know who actually looked at it. Right?
Not for all of them. Not all of them. No, absolutely, we do not know.
And
now that we know that there's actually an allegation against Brian to be kissing a 13-year-old when he was 19, it kind of makes you wonder if those searches had anything to do with Brian and not necessarily Bobby or any of the other boys, or even Tom Yanda, who was still living there, or Barb. You know what I mean? So now it kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes me think maybe it was Brian, because he's got now a little bit of a history of that.
Yeah, but we know that those documented. Yeah, go ahead, Suppercop.
I would say, keep in mind, it certainly opens a possibility, but without knowing what the relationship is between Brian and whoever this person was, if they were really good friends, if it was somebody he's known for a long time, that's going to be different. That kind of situation is going to be different than somebody who's showing interest in wanting younger girls, right? Like I said, it opens a possibility, but don't put too much credence on it until we know what that relationship is.
I think
we need that report. That's what we need.
Yeah,
agreed.
That's right, and we're waiting on it. So this one came pretty quick. So hopefully, Two Rivers will be on the spot and give me theirs.
Right. So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and I think whenever Bobby is presented as the prime suspect, as being the person responsible for the searches, it's always with the understanding that Brendan, before he was arrested, Blaine, both and Brian had access as well.
That's right. I've always, even with everything that Tim Tedious has written, and he's linked certain things, not everything, and I've always taken it that they're always a possibility that the other brothers were there, and they're teenage kids. We've talked about this numerous times. It's a possibility. We just don't know for positive. So.
All we have is what everyone in the investigation, when asked about Brian, they've all made it clear that he wasn't around. So for the searches from whenever, like let's say October, from October 1st, when Scott decided to show up in Barb's life, it appears, until the computer was seized, it looks like it was, predominantly Bobby, Brendan, and Blaine.
Well, see, there's another thing. We don't know when that relationship began. I've asked before, and nobody really knows for sure. That as far as I know. So. And
I think it's kind of a hush-hush thing, simply because she was still married. So
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure it was.
We know that he moved out sometime in mid-October.
Mid-October.
Between October 15th or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
For the divorce, October 7th. I think he moved out a week later or something.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
Anyway, let's move on to this next section, which really is.
Which one do you want to do next, Jax?
Kleiser. It's going to start with that file that Tim Tedious sent me that I'd never read before. And,
okay.
Kind of have him go through. I'd never read this file. This is crazy. It's just crazy. Wow, I missed it. Here, let me get it pulled up here.
Me too.
I'll let Tim Tedious kind of go through this and at least the section that we discussed a little bit earlier before we came live. So it should pop in there. Looks like it's already there. So go ahead, Tim Tedious. Tell me what your thoughts here on this particular order is. Yep. Oh, there he is.
Sorry, yeah. This is the link that I sent you, eh?
Yes.
Okay. The main thing that I noticed about Kleiser, he signed the death certificate on November 10th. However, months later, when Kratz went to admit the death certificate as evidence, the judge ruled that he could not do so without hearing from Claser, without Claser taking the stand and testifying and facing cross-examination. So he never did that. Claser never took the stand, never faced cross-examination to talk about how he determined that Teresa had died by November 10th. I think that's a good enough summary to start with.
Yeah, I mean, this section that we're not gonna read through it all. I'll make sure that this link is provided for this file, but it's interesting, this section, that number 19 that you had sent me. The court, I'm not gonna read through all of it, but that's what I took from it, that Willis was not comfortable with how that all came about. And for this particular file to be filed under seal, that's another thing too that's really strange. So anyway, I thought this would be a great segue in moving to our next file, which is going to be.
I have one comment about this. I don't remember reading this, so I'm gonna have to go back and read this one. But could this be why they actually, like, they had that wrongful death suit? I always wondered why they stopped that. I mean, they were both convicted. There was a good chance they would have won that, but there was something that stopped them. I mean, could it be the fact that the death certificate there's a question about its admissibility, so they couldn't go for wrongful death if they can't even prove the death certificate?
Well, I think it's a combination. It's all of it, because civil trials open you up to a greater amount of questioning. So if someone was to get one of the officers on the stand, presumably to testify about the investigation to help the Hawbox, and then one of Stephen's attorneys came up there and started grilling him about all the suspicious stuff officers done, the judge could compel him to answer, and that can be used in Stephen and Brendan's appeals. So I think I think it has more to do with protecting the conviction. Yeah.
I should have said, Jinx, that even though the judge ruled, I can't rule on the admissibility of the death certificate without hearing from Claser. Claser never testified, and the death certificate was still admitted as evidence.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's interesting.
It was admitted despite the fact that,
it wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, despite the fact that they never let him testify or face cross-examination.
Conveniently.
Indeed.
Just another
thing is
in this case.
Number 18 is where.
And notice what the mean of death is on this death certificate.
Yeah.
Well, now this is the amendment. This is a new document that we've never seen before. This is the amendment. Yeah, this is something that Sunshine just got. So that's the reason I wanted to do that segue that Tim sent. I thought it was a great way to introduce, because, I mean, to me, Willis is saying, you need to get up on the stand and tell us what the hell you did and how you got there. This document here.
Part of it, stab wound to the abdomen, knife wound to the throat. And who said that?
This all came from Brendan. This all came from Brendan. That's what I'm saying. This is the amended form, so we need to go through that. That's why I segued in with that other file first. So this came, this was signed on March 31st, 2006. And when did he sign the death certificate? Wasn't it November 10th, Tim Tedious?
He pronounced her on the 10th. He signed it on the 15th, I think, of December.
I think he signed it on the 5th of December, which was the same day that Culhane finally documented that there was a partial profile match.
Okay.
I think there's different signatures on there. I think Claser did sign it on the 10th, and it wasn't the deed of register or whatever from Manitowoc signed it the day that they went to court, or the day before they went to court in December, I think.
But nonetheless,
I got a question.
Yeah.
How do they know stab wound to the abdomen, knife, or throat, and the throat when there's nothing but bones?
This all came from Brendan. They came back in here and they modified it.
They just wrote whatever Brendan said, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
They
well,
must
when
not
since
have
when does a
modified it. They
fucking
must not
coroner
have
do
got
that?
this through because it's not on the death certificate.
It's an amended death certificate.
This is an amendment.
Where it
Still,
says amendment,
okay, this makes
Is it an
absolutely no.
application to amend it, or is it actually amended?
it's a form. He's the person who files it. This is an amended death certificate.
It's right
Well,
there at the
that
top.
That
makes no
doesn't mean that
sense.
the Register of Deeds will allow that to happen.
Yes, exactly. This is bogus bullshit. Exactly what they say in here. I do not understand how they were allowed to do that when they cannot prove that by the body. That's what the coroner does. Looks at the body, makes a determination from whatever. Okay, I can understand the gunshots, but the stab wound and all this and that, that's just hearsay. Absolutely no physical forensic proof of.
Right, but remember, they're taking Brendan's confession as gospel, and that's what they're running with.
That's right.
So they don't need anything else.
Here's another thing that they added.
I think he listened to the confession and he wrote this on his piece of paper. That's what I think happened.
Notice they
But
also
in 2007, at the trial, the death certificate that they actually did admit into evidence that we have seen doesn't have any of these amendments on it. So did that mean that the form was denied?
we don't know. We know that, but he officially filled it out because it's right here and he signed it.
Yeah, he signed it. The date is later, right? It's in March 2000.
Yep, March 31st. Yours right there.
Yeah.
The death certificate used in the trial is the original death certificate. In order to see that's the first one issued. In order to see what her death certificate says now, you would have to get one from a death certificate. Is that me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't know how this was legally would be able to be used in any way. There's no scientific.
They actually amended the original where they crossed out undetermined.
Is it?
And
It's
has
like
a note on it that it was amended back in 2005. So had it been amended again, they would have used the amended one. Don't you think that for the trial of Avery, where it says she was shot in the garage, shot in the head, stabbed?
No. See, here's the slicky boy. They get the original in somehow, however they did it, even though Willis said no. They got the original in. So as long as the original was accepted, you could amend the crap out of it afterwards. It doesn't matter because now it's still official.
Right, because they got
this amendment happened in 2006. It says in March 31st, 2006, a year before the even trial.
Exactly.
That's right.
Oh, so they just wanted one to fall back on, right? Just to have something in case the first one didn't work. It's like, hey, let's have another option. What is that?
What I think is it was probably done to help the Hawbucks in their civil suit when they still thought they could get away with it. Because this makes it look
that makes a little bit more sense for that. But still, even though it just looks like, hey, this one doesn't work, well, we'll use this one. Something's got a bad here. I mean, I don't get it. This is just
that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like they've done it so as that they can go and sue Stephen, because all the details that are on that, the stab wounds to the abdomen, knife wounds to the throat, shot in the head, a body, a time of death between 5:30 and 6. How the hell can they come up with shit like that when nothing was proven?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. He's number 40 there. He says shot in the head and body with 22 caliber rifle by assailant, stabbed by assailant.
Okay, well, how did they know that by bones? Because that's all they had, bones the size of a pinky or smaller. That the time of death. How would they fucking be able to tell that?
Place of death is the garage.
Yeah, place of death is the garage right there on number 43.
Oh my God, they don't even. Oh fuck.
Look at the time of death. October 31st, 2005, 1730 to 1800. So 5:30 to 6
That's
o'clock.
what I'm saying, Jax. That's my precise. That is my thing. How can they tell that with bones? You cannot tell time of death, let alone a stab wound or anything.
Well, there's actually
one at a time, guys.
That's funny because he didn't perform any autopsy that said she was shot in the head and all that other stuff, did he?
Hey, and here's
Well,
here's the one I have the problem with too, is number 51.
Yeah, the pregnancy status. Yeah.
Last year, unknown. It should be unknown because they had nothing to test to find out.
All of this should be unknown except for a shot to the head, because that's the only thing they can prove with bones. The other bones prove absolutely positively nothing. It's a bunch of bullshit. How this was ever passed legally boggles my mind more than anything in the case now.
It's interesting that the top right corner is not filled out.
And
Correct.
they also have evidence that points actually away from that being true, because supposedly it looks like she was bashed in the head by the back door of her car.
We need to look at this right here too. I noticed this earlier, and I hadn't had a chance to go back and look. Up here in the upper right, it says Chapter 69, Chapter 69.18 Wisconsin stat. I mean, it cuts off, but I'm sure we could find it. Chapter 69 of the Wisconsin Supreme Court statutes. So whatever, I'm sure we could look that up, and I will when I get time.
This looks like a duplicate. So probably what they do is they fill out two pieces. They put one in his file to keep, and he submits the other one. And where it says date received and certificate number, that's going to be filed by the registrar. They're going to file it and attach it to the original death certificate.
Yeah, we need to see if we can get that to see if it actually was entered.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, I mean, the fact that they're saying they are hours of injury, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Well, did they not say in court that Teresa was killed between 2:30 and 3 that time in the afternoon?
And
you know, so they need to make up their fucking mind about what they're wanting to do. You know what I mean? When did she die? Did she die in the afternoon? Did she die at 5:30, 6 o'clock? Yeah. You know what I mean? And then having all this on this certificate, if this has been used legally, then surely Kathleen can do something about it.
Oh, look, he marked injury at work too. You see that? Number 44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because technically she would have been at work.
Well, we don't.
She was in the course of her employment.
We don't know that. How does he know that?
Well, they're tying. They're because he's tying for Auto Trader. That's where he's tying it to. So at work.
Well, but my point being is we don't know if she made it home.
Well, no, right? I understand that, but he's not considering that at all.
No,
he's not even. That's not even in his world. He's believing everything that he's being told. I mean, going back and filling out all this stuff that Brendan copped to under coercion. You know, come on, it's terrible.
So remember, is the fact that we were able to get a copy of this means it was filed. That means it was accepted, and where the finger should be pointed now in this case is, why didn't the defense see this? Why didn't the defense challenge this? Why was this allowed?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how they got it.
Does Zellner have this?
She does now.
Okay.
You might want to, Sunshine. You might want to ask Buting if he ever saw it.
Yeah. TTM fangirl question. Do we know whose signature that is, Michael? And then, well, it looks like yours answered it. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Well,
can we FOIA the register of deeds in Manitowoc, because that's who would have to sign off on it.
That's what I said. We need to get the signed. See if there's a signed, if it's signed off and admitted into the file.
Death certificates in Florida cost like $15, even through FOIA requests. Because it's a certificate.
It varies by state.
You can get for the only thing you can get for free is the court copy. To get the official record.
Oh, i.e.
Why would I only want the court copy? I don't need that.
Teresa's name is spelled wrong.
One at a time, guys.
We have the court copy, Jinx. We have the copy filed with the criminal report. To get
Teresa's name.
Death certificate on file. You may have to actually go there because that's how you have to do it. Or I think you can pay online. But we'll have to call and see. We have the copy that was filed as part of this case.
Right.
Which is not the amended one from this, so I would
No.
like to see if we have a copy of an amended
I
death
do.
certificate.
I don't think we're going to get it from them. We're going to have to figure out another way to get it.
Pete Moss is pointing out that even her name is spelled incorrectly.
It is pretty. Yeah. What was the first thing I said? What was the first thing I said to you, Sunshine, when I pulled this up? I said, you can't even spell her name right. Put an H in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yet they hide behind the tail skirts of this family when they don't even know how to spell her name right.
So is it where it says gunshot to the head and then the next little, is that immediately? Is that what that says?
Immediate death.
Yeah, how can you, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that.
Well, like I said,
well,
he's
right in the description it says gunshot to head with .22 rifle by assistant stabbed by assailants or
assailants.
Yeah. I mean, so how it's all it's just double standard, double knifed here.
Doesn't that just make your head just spin?
This
does
is
mine.
how easy,
it does.
how easy it is to make someone's death something different than what it was. That's all I can say.
Okay, any more?
We don't know how she died. We don't know what she died from. Right. And that's the truth. We only have what they're presenting to us. And look at
and it's bullshit.
How they are willing to lie to further the lie. So if they're lying about all this, and this is official records filed with the state, like forever, unless we
but
get
see,
it changed.
I mean, to this guy though, you got to understand that you got to look at it from his side. His side, he's being told by cops and district attorneys, this is what happened. So for him, he's just going to believe it. He doesn't question it. I get that. I don't agree, but I get that.
The issue is a coroner or a medical examiner is not supposed to work for anyone but the victim.
I agree.
That's what their loyalty is to. They are to talk for the victim because the victim can no longer talk for themselves.
I mean, Gunn brought this guy out of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So
it's probably because he's one of the good old boys that will do things the way they want it done, obviously.
Play ball.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, if you scroll down, you were saying about the 69-8 Team Wisconsin. See if you scroll back down to the bottom, what's on the screen now, I think it's got a wee bit there, right at the very bottom. Yeah, not go.
You talking about
right at the very bottom, requires you to report a status of pending cause of death after pronouncement of death. If the cause of death is still pending after that, status of investigation to the vital records of office every 30 days for up to 1 year after the date of pronounced dead. So that must be part of that statute.
Yeah, it really is. It spells it out. I still want to look it up and look at the entire thing. Good catch. I hadn't read that. Excellent. Okay. Anything else before we move on to the...
How many times do they get to amend it, though? Because
I don't know.
If you look at the original, that undetermined, like they crossed that out by the December when it was filed with the Register of Deeds, he crossed out the undetermined. So therefore, they had a determination of her death long before the 31st of March that they're now just putting it in. I mean, it almost seems like they might not have accepted it because of that.
I don't know. I don't know how many times they can amend it. I mean, I maybe numerous times, I mean, I guess it would, depending on how somebody died and they found out more information as they go.
You have that. Because think about people who have had someone die and they think it's a natural cause of death, and then it comes out like their
poisoned.
Partner has poisoned them.
Yeah.
So they exhume the body, they re-autopsy it, and then they submit a new autopsy and they amend the cause of death.
Correct.
And I've seen it done I think I've seen one case where they've done it twice.
Succinylcholine case or something?
Yeah, something like that. So it's it's not unheard of to do this, but that what I don't like is he's just following along with the narrative, and we know the narrative is false.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Did Teresa have like an insurance policy on herself or anything like that? Because to me, this looks like this has been written out with all the details that they could possibly put on to be able to claim for something, you know, because whether it was for their civil suit or whether it was for an insurance claim or what, that's what this looks like to me, because they need to have certain details on it and things like that to claim it for it to be a legal document.
There's also like if you're killed or wounded by somebody, there's like some defense fund that you can actually get some money from.
Survivor's fund.
It's something like that. I mean, that's what's jumping out to me with this. You know what I mean? Whether it was for their civil suit or what, to have all the details in it and no proof.
Well,
with all the details in it. It's disgusting, but to be used as a legal document.
Here's another problem I see with this, and I don't know if y'all caught it, and maybe I'm just reading it wrong, but number under 38, it says plainly that a gunshot to head. Is he pointing to item FL? No.
Jeff Jones wants to know how it can be proven that it was a .22 caliber.
Yeah, and you're right, Jack. If they're going by the bullet to say it was a gunshot to the head, that automatically ruins it.
All they pointed to was item FL and FK, right?
Right. That's the only cause of death. It was the gun over the bed, the bullet in the garage, and the bones in his burn pit.
Yeah. So.
And ODOG.
Can you ask Razor for all the copies of the death certificate that he has in his possession? Maybe we could just ask him what he's got. Maybe he's got several.
And ODOG points out where Steve was on a call with Jody at during part of the time where.
Yep, that's right. 1730 to 1800.
She was marked as killed.
She called. Didn't she call him at like 5:35 that afternoon?
Yeah. That's what ODOG said, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so we definitely need to put a pin. We go ahead.
Real quick, I also want to say I've always wondered, since her brother was an attorney and he seemed to be Sue happy, with the injury at work, has anyone ever thought to see if there isn't a civil suit filed on the behalf of her family against Bob?
We'd know about it. We'd heard by now. I haven't looked, but somebody would.
Donald Gass says, wasn't Glazer involved in the Bombetic case?
I don't know if he was involved in the Bombetic case, but he is the man who re-signed and put the homicide on Courtney Skinner's brother. I think his name's Walter Skinner. He died in the 60s or early 70s, and he changed it from accident to homicide or something around 2005 too, I thought.
Yeah. I didn't think he was involved in the Bennett case. But putting a pin in this, a couple of things that come from this, maybe some more documentation we need to try to get specifically to see if it's been filed and received into wherever they hold death certificates. I don't know exactly how that works for Wisconsin, so.
Oh, I just want to point out, too, that it says that she was a non-smoker, but we know that she was a smoker.
Yeah, she was. Okay. Any more questions before I click over to this next part? Nothing? We good?
I think we're looking good.
Okay. So this next one is a worksheet that Glazer filled out. This is a new document as well. So, Christina?
So it's a 4-page document, and it's listed as a medical examiner's worksheet when he relinquished it to me. His handwriting's pretty rough.
It is.
But yeah, can you pull it up, Jax?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. So it says initial suggested manner of death, and he's got checked homicide. Cause of death, he only has A, gunshot to the head. He didn't add all the other stuff that he put on the other one. Final manner of death is homicide. He signed it. He dated it the same day he did the amendment, 3/31/06. And then there's some interesting notations in his notes. So it says 1610, which I'm guessing is 410, and it says number 7924, which we know.
Read the date over here to the left first.
Oh, okay, sorry. November 10th, 2005 at 12930A, I'm guessing Avery Road. 1610 would be 410, 7924, which is the bone fragments allegedly recovered from the brown tarp, right? Or is that the brown tarp?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Bone fragments found at 12932 Avery Road, Two Rivers. Evidence tag number 7924, plastic container, multiple burn fragments, one triangular piece.
Yep.
Flat surface, possibly tibia bone, one piece.
Rectangular.
And curved, 3- rib ? Unknown female. And then it goes down and it says DNA report 12505, partial profile 13 of 15, results at 7 loci consistent with type. What's that first word on the second line?
From blood stain.
Okay, from blood stain.
Soda can. Yeah.
Cross to pap smear tissue. Item BZ, piece of bone with muscle attached, possibly human humerus. Seeking will find that interesting.
Yeah.
Something underneath notes is one. What did we decide? 1 in 1 billion Caucasian population.
We discussed this last night. We need to let Dr. Silkman do a little math here.
And then below that it says, I don't know what that word is. It's DEPT. It looks like maybe department.
Department or depletion, or I really don't know what it is.
Then what Jackson, I think the next set of numbers is a formula he may have done for himself.
Yeah.
Like maybe 17.
It looks like description.
It could be.
What'd you say? Oh no, it's no. What about DNA? 17 and then 11. Does anybody know her DNA profile enough to know if she has a 17 and 11 on any of her markers?
I don't.
You'd have to talk to Silkman or look at one of that.
Are you sure it doesn't say department time 1711, like 5:11 at night?
It could be.
Yeah. Department time. And
yeah.
Then 6,300 /
divided by X.
Share.
Yeah.
See, that's what makes me think it's a math formula.
Yeah, we don't really know for sure, but it did kind of remind me, because of the way he's written this, it looks like a kind of a formula that he was playing around in his head with. I don't know.
I wonder if...
Looks like he was adding up his time for work.
Well, it is over here, yeah, in this section, but not that other section.
Does it say a check-in time at the top of the paper in that area? Does it say anything else like department time up there? I can't see because I don't
know
pages.
No, it does not.
No,
he's just got the date.
At the very top, it says 2005 11-10-01. So that must be his internal number.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's it. And then
Kent 3334 that isn't 12930 the Dassey's residence.
I don't know. Yes, somebody that's like, is it yours?
Yeah. Yep. That's the Dassey residence. That's what I thought of when I saw it. It's like, why did he say that?
So the
in the same sentence, they say that.
Did 7924 come out of the burn barrel number 2?
No.
I don't know.
No. That's 7964.
Avery Road at his address.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing why there's 2 addresses in there. Same
I know.
line, so.
It is very confusing.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Why have they got 12930A at on the left-hand side, but then in the actual statement they're saying Avery? So that's the other thing, and all when it comes to the computer with the first ones that you put up and everything like that, it doesn't matter really who was on the computer, because they changed it to say that it was Stephen's computer anyway, no the Dassey computer. You know what I mean? So it could have been any one of the Dasseys that did the images with that computer, but they didn't care about that because they put it down and they said it was Avery's.
Pete Moss says, I think the brown tire contained the contents from Cusroad Deer Camp barrel. And Sherry Pantello, she says, how is he saying it's a female on November 10th without the hip bone?
Well, Jensen had him first on the 9th.
No.
Right, or Jensen had him, not Jensen, Bennett had him first.
Bennett had him way back.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking he based his conclusions on that report.
So do I.
Yeah. What would he have found after that box of bones?
So
that he concluded that it was a female.
Bennett allegedly examined them between 12:30 and 1:30 on November 9th in Madison.
Yeah.
But his report states, at the time, date, and place given above, I received from Freimiller. You know what would be interesting, yours, is to try and get her work for that day, what time she left the property, and you know,
that'll be in. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Yep.
A cardboard box, presumably containing burned bones, from a site unknown to me. Agent Freimiller asked for my help in determining whether these remains were human or non-human, and for any other information that might be useful in identification. I opened the box, which contained several dozen, no actual count was made, small, almost incinerated, and fragmentary scraps of bone, many of which were immediately and incontrovertibly diagnosable as human. The remains were then poured out on a clean piece of cardboard and inspected piece by piece. Each piece was moved about with a knife point so as to prevent contamination with my own DNA, and at no time was such contamination allowed. Now, so that's how he received them. He doesn't know where they came from. He doesn't, you know what I mean? There's no tag numbers listed, no nothing. What's interesting, and we'll talk more about it. I can read this now, but it says, again, among the bony fragments, fortunately, was part of the ilium, ischium, acetabellum, and greater sciatic notch, with an angulation of approximately 90 degrees. This is strongly indicative of the female sex. So that's how he determined that these were female bones. And then he says, in addition, the size of a radial head, a humeral head, a zygomatic and faintly developed linea aspera all suggest female, even given shrinkage, considerable shrinkage due to heat. The rather broad age range given in the summary reflects the absence of the bones necessary for a more precise estimate. But of those bones present, all epiphyseal unions are complete, indicating an age of over about 20 years. Likewise, although not the best indicator, all cranial sutures are still patent, which would tend to rule out an older individual.
They're asking where you're reading that from because they don't see that on the document.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't load
It
that one.
must be a lag. Oh, okay.
What I can do is
It's been that's Bennett's report.
It's Bennett's report. It's out there. It's been out there. But I have a hard time finding the actual report.
I'll get it linked into the description so everybody can have access to it. We've got it. We've had it for forever. So
it's been around for a while. But that was the first person to look at him, and they came in a box from a site unknown to him. No evidence tags listed on this report.
Well, so, that doesn't mean there wasn't evidence. That doesn't mean they weren't tagged. That just means he did. He did.
It doesn't mean they were. Right?
I tend to believe that they were tagged, and he just didn't list them.
I just find it odd that he didn't list them, but that's just me.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. I hate to speculate and say that. I just don't know. I mean, I think that once wherever they got them from, they say burn area behind Avery's garage. I don't know that I necessarily believe that because we don't have any photos to prove it. Wherever they came from, I think they were tagged before they left the property. They went to Bennett. He did his thing. He didn't list the tag numbers. And then Fry Miller took the box to Dane County for Dr. Eisenberg to look at when she got back.
Mm-hmm.
But she did list the tag numbers. But anyway.
She listed tag numbers the next day. Yes.
Okay. Also, William would like to know, what does it mean, see attached?
Yeah. Well, that's the next part of this worksheet here that I scroll down to page 2. Mm-hmm. There's really not a whole lot on it, but it does say, sample and test, ID required. He's got DNA checked, and then other test results see attached. So I don't think we got any attachments to this specifically. This is 4 pages. So.
Well, we got it. We just didn't get it in this part because remember he gives us the DNA part in the next one, which we've been had. That's
the DNA. Yeah, we've got the DNA report. I didn't pull that one up. So yeah, we've got that one.
So page 3 doesn't say much. It says date and time pronounced is November 10th at 16:10 p.m. Appears decedent died. It looks unknown. What does that mean? Appears decedent died.
I'm not sure where you're reading that at on page 3.
Unknown, transported from. So page 3 at the top. So he doesn't know on this point. He doesn't know where she died. So he tapped unknown.
Oh, I see where you're saying that.
Yeah.
I got you.
Then body located outdoors. Bone fragments found in burning pit. Avery property behind garage next to red trailer home. I've seen that written so many times in this case. Avery property south of red trailer. Avery property south of red trailer home. Avery property. Yeah. It could be in Cuss Road, but it's on the Avery property.
Yeah. They always got to tie the Avery property to it. Somehow they can.
Described clothing, none received. Was death witnessed, and it's unchecked. Death pronounced by Michael Kleeser. Yep. Injury or poison is checked for evidence of special circumstances. Bone fragments found on property identified as adult female. It's really weird that this was on October 31st. Oh, wait, didn't we? This is a typo. So date of injury is he's got written October 31st, 2006. But
yeah, it should be 2005. Yeah.
Time of injury, 6:30 or 5:30 to 6. Place of injury is 12/9/30 Avery Road.
You corrected it.
Yep. It's definitely. And then location garage. Injury at work is checked again. Yes. County of injury is Manitowoc.
You got a question, BB?
Jamie Hart said, I find it odd that any of these investigators passed any sort of testing on investigation competency.
Yeah.
Well, I have a report coming from another death investigation and we're going to compare them. Now, there is some time change, but I just, even reviewing, in my opinion, even reviewing reports written from the Gregory Allen era, they know how to write reports.
Sure they do.
Know what needs to be said. The only time they don't write them right is when they're not doing their job. They're doing it for some other reason.
Well, that all comes about what is the goal. Goal is always the driver. So if the goal is if the goal is to misdirect to another direction, that's how the report reflects it. So anyway, this is page 4. This is one of my favorite pages, and you'll see why here in a minute. Anyway, go ahead.
So there's a name scratched out at the top, and it looks like Kathy. What do you think, Pelham? Roland, maybe. So
maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Scroll up a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, it's there. It'll come in there in a second. You'll see it.
Just go down just a little because it's hidden by your bar. Jax.
Can you see it now?
No.
So that's
REL or
that's an R. Release.
There it is, right there. Perfect.
That says release.
Kathy Release? Karen?
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, that looks like Release, but doesn't that look like Kathy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kathy.
All right. Do we know a Kathy?
Kathy Williford.
Well, maybe Kathy would be the person in the office that would release this.
Maybe, yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
So, go ahead. This is your favorite page, Jax. You take it away.
Well, basically, this is the medical examiner's file worksheet. Again, Teresa spelled wrong. Female, single white. And this is a lie. I'm sorry, but it is. And this is section right here. It says that case reported, and apparently he says he goes to Avery property escorted by Jerry Poggle. Avery property, Manitowoc County. He did not go to the Avery property. As far as we know, the report that we have says he went to the quarry on whatever date it was. Was it
the day he pronounced her deceased,
yeah.
November 10th.
Yeah, that's right. November 10th at 15:30. So, and he's even got it checked. Arrived at scene. So, as far as we know, he was never there. I think the next thing right here is I really find interesting. It's got a phone number here. And it says Daniel Waiting, however you say that name. And that caught my attention because Waiting, yeah. Because isn't that the name of the funeral home or the Hallbox?
Waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting, yeah. Waiting.
Now, yours had a good idea about a legitimate reason for why that might be on there. So I'm going to let him explain it.
Yeah, the medical examiner basically, when they pronounce someone dead, they contact the Wheating, the funeral home, to make the death certificate. The first there's typed information on it. That's what they do, and then they contact Karen Hellbeck for the social security number and all that information. That's what they do. So wouldn't be surprised if that number is on there to make a call and
Okay, fair enough. I can live with that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I can live with that.
I didn't want to, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because they, funeral homes handle a lot. It's not just, selling caskets. They handle a lot of the paperwork and that kind of thing. So I can live with that.
You don't have to ask one question. How did the social security number from Teresa get on the death certificate? That's only because Karen Halbach gave it to someone.
Absolutely.
Our William asked why it says no next to kin.
Says what?
No next to kin. Why no next of kin?
Oh, I don't know. There's some stuff written in here that I can tell is there, but I can't read it. It's in the medication dosage conditions. I don't know if you can see that. I meant to mention that to you, Christina. You see what I'm talking about there where it says NA? There is stuff written in there, but you can't read it. I don't know if we can blow it up here. And
hold on and I'll look. Give me just a second.
it's really, really light. It's really light. Anyway, I'm not going to go through too much.
Where's it at now? Oh, I see. I can see it on your screen. Watch out, Tank. Sorry.
No, there's a little bit of something in the notes there, but that's all gray. I don't know if there's a white in there.
White. They use white out again. Heard that before.
Weird for it to be anything unless they whited. Oh, you know what? I bet you they did. I bet you they whited out medicine.
Obviously.
It's always been something they have kept out of the public domain. But there's been questions about why she was an endangered female even before they realized that she had been taken presumably from work. And someone said that people who have medication can get an endangered person listing faster than most can. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found that interesting. I saw that last night as I was after we got off Discord, and I thought, what the?
So here's a thought on that little part right there, because the all that is at the bottom, the very last line. I'm not going to take that as something that's been whited out from that section because it would have been up towards the top on the first lines. I'm thinking that's more something that is transposed from a paper that was maybe put on top of it, and that's an ink transfer. That's what that looks like to me.
On
there was something written.
Maybe.
Like there was.
Yeah, it could be.
On my copy on my screen, it looks like it's filled in on the top line as well. That's the problem. If you look at it on your computer screen, it's like when you pull it up for yourself, you'll see that it looks like that whole area has been
whited out,
like jinked with. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be the first. It would be the first piece of paper that we've got that's had white out applied to it. So I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, it is. Anyway. Any more questions about this worksheet before we move to the next section, which is the RAV pictures? Anything? BB? Linda?
No, it looks pretty good.
Okay.
Drum roll.
I'm going to apologize to everyone because these pictures are kind of psychoglia and they are in a PDF file. I will tell you.
One more thing.
Yeah.
10-3334 said, they told Brendan while in Cribbets she needs her medication.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They did.
That's right. That. Yeah. I will apologize in advance. These photos, they're in a PDF file. They're left, right, and upside down. So you're just going to have to bear with me as I straighten them out. I will tell you that Zoe has pulled all of these photos out and away from the PDF file. They will be a standard JPEG. So we got that. So anyway. Pictures. There are 32 pictures. Some we've seen before, some we haven't. So, go ahead, Christina.
Go ahead.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, but not as clear as this one.
No.
So if y'all seen this, what is to the left of the paper? Like on the hood. Once we're looking at it, what is that laying on the hood?
Leaves or foliage.
I zoomed it in. The quality kind of goes down when I do that.
It looks like branches, but why would they do that? Why would they bring these tiny branches and not the bigger ones? So it can't be branches.
Oh, they might have pulled stuff out by like the hood, by the hood and the windshield, by that little grate there, so that way they can like try and prove that it came from Avery's or something.
I don't know. I've seen this one before, but it seemed to me like that the copy that we have, that the area to the left is cropped more over towards that fire extinguisher, and I don't remember, but it's not a big deal. But it just seemed like it was cropped.
Yeah, no. Well, all trial pictures are cropped.
Yeah.
That's basis. All of them are.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next one. I think everyone's going to find this really interesting here, and some things that Christina and I discussed last night. Go ahead, Christina.
I'm here. Yep. Let's see which one.
It's the front. It's the damage.
The damage. Okay, I don't. Hold on, mine's catching up.
Remember what we discussed about the bumper and how it been? We agreed that it had been flapped backwards.
So if you look at the bottom right of where the hole is on the bottom of the bumper, and if you look at that crease, that clear line that goes straight up and kind of angles towards the tire, it looks to us, to me and Jax, like that whole bumper got folded backwards.
Sure as hell does to me.
Folded, they would have had to have, somebody would have had to pull that out in order to drive the car.
Something else. Look to the left of that crease over here to right underneath where the parking lot would go. There's one really good scratch deep, and there's another one that's not quite as deep that goes down. Like something got hit in that area, flapped that thing backwards, and it would have had to have been pulled out.
Yeah.
Is that what you see at yours?
Yeah.
Oh well, the biggest hole underneath there. That's the furthest to the closest to the tire, and that's what's caused the inner fender to detach from. You see that when the inner fender is curled up.
Yeah.
Or where that inner fender curled up at. They could have been trying to get that inner wheel well thing out and bent it like that, getting it out.
See, from this photo here above the tire, I scrolled up. It's hard to tell what's going on there. But if you look where that body molding comes down, that gray area, I don't know what that stuff is. But I did notice where the bumper meets the paint here near the hood. That looks like wood embedded to me. I don't know that it is. That's what it looks like.
Circle it with your mouse, like so they can see.
No, that's I think that's part of the inner well. That it has a lot of mud on it. We see that in other pictures better. And there's a lot of scratches on it where you go now on the fender bit.
Yeah, I zoomed that in there. What I'm talking about. Like I said, it just really looks like chunks of wood that got jammed in, but it could be mud. You said mud, yours? Dried mud?
That white.
I think,
right in the middle in the center, yours. You think that's mud? With nothing around.
No. That's just paint chipped off, and that's a bit rusty, or that's the middle part of the. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, found that interesting. To me, this is the
photo. Yours? Had you seen this one?
Yeah. This one is in evidence as well. Only not this sharp.
Okay. Not this sharp. Really, they dull it out. Let's not present the best photo possible to the jury.
Well, that's why I told you. That's why I wanted. That's why I wanted the digital copies.
Now, the thing is, if you scan it in another thing and then just present it at trial, there's always a little bit quality difference, right? The jury doesn't have to see the best detail in there because they're not sitting on top of the screen. So.
Right. All right. This is the next one. We've seen this one before. I don't think there's really anything new to new to this one at all. We've seen this one before. I think there's actually I know there's a high def photo of this one.
I just point out that the driver's front tire is awfully clean compared to all the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So
which it was not as sun sharp.
Not. It was not like that at the Avery property.
And then go ahead.
Clean and not the rest.
Was there a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Diane Misty says, it looks like there's a flecks of mud spattered on the front, but isn't there some where the light was too?
I can go back up to it here.
And Kent 3334 says, I've always, this is car talk, so I don't quite understand it. I've always been drawn to the new bolt holding skid plate under the car.
Yeah, I mean you can get a skid plate, but I'm not sure I know exactly what he's talking about there.
It does look broke. The lens looks broke.
Yeah.
I know. She either.
I think somebody bumped her from behind to get her to.
He could be right.
That's my husband.
Yeah.
He's home.
That's okay. Everybody's welcome.
Hey, husband.
Hi. They said hi, husband. The only thing is he doesn't have a filter, and we're on YouTube, so
that's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We don't have that ability.
We all lost our filters some time ago.
With their car to get her to pull over. That's all I've always said. That.
I know. That's what I think too.
I've always said that.
That right there.
Or whoever it was, somebody hit her from behind, got her to pull over. It's a big common thing in the United States now during kidnapping.
I know. It's how they get young women to single women in vehicles.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
So this one here, I guess I just didn't remember the parking lot. I guess I need to pull up a picture of the parking lot at some point. Didn't remember this section here, the parking lot lens being broken and still left in the RAV.
I don't either.
Shane Careless says the yellow mark at the front under the headlight is primer filler. And Kent 3334 says the first pick under the car to the left is a shiny bolt, no dirt.
What?
Well, this is the first. This is the first picture right here.
Under the car to the left is a shiny bolt with no dirt.
I don't know if we get enough quality out of this photo here to really give a good response to that.
How did we miss that lens being broke until now? And you're saying
I've always known it was broken. It was always broken.
It was always there. Yeah.
I guess I just never paid attention to it.
Yeah, me either.
And the light in the back looks broken off of it too.
Oh, I see the little shiny bolt. I seen the little shiny bolt then.
Where are you talking about, B?
It's gone now. It's okay.
So what's is the black mark in the passenger head or the driver's side headlight lens? Is that the one that you were just on, Jax? Is that just a picture defect?
You're talking about in picture number. This is
the one you were just on, the first one we were looking front on at the RAV.
And Shane Henry says the cracks at the very bottom could be from a tool to pull the bumper away from the tire.
It could be. It's almost, I mean, it could be that, but it's almost like they hit something and it caused that to get cracked and that hole in it. I don't know. That's just what it appeared to me. And because it's
folded inside, it folded into the fender well, and then someone had to pull it out.
Yeah.
in order to get it to roll, because it was
And
wedged
maybe
against
they
the
were
tire.
using that hooked tool that's missing from her kit, and that's the very tool that they used to whack her in the head with.
Maybe.
I think
Really?
she ran into something and then she had to reverse, and because of driving reverse, the inner well curled upwards.
That's a very good possibility. I've
This
seen
She had
wrecked cars. I
drive
used to work
backwards.
in a
So.
body shop. I've seen wrecked cars where that's happened.
this is interesting here. This is the
And
left
if you
front.
look at the pictures, there's a suspension there which holds the inner fender cannot go past the suspension because that's holding it backward.
Yeah.
I think it's called the coil spring. It's like a little spring. Is that what you're talking about, or the shock?
Yeah, if you zoom in on that picture, you see that inner fender well, that part that you see there just above the wheel. That's supposed to be like all the way down to the bumper.
And it's supposed to be a plastic cover.
That's why you see the mud deposited on it.
Yeah.
And it's curled upwards, but it cannot go further backwards because the suspension thing is in there.
Shock tower.
Otherwise, it would have gone. It was blocked.
It is interesting that this tire is really clean, and you got all that mud on the body molding there.
Yeah. That's also one for Hanbury because that means it was skull dragged. It's skull dragged, but I don't know how it got that clean because the theory is that it moved on its back wheels.
Correct.
Daisy Lady is asking, but wasn't the light fixture found in the back behind the back seats intact without the plastic broken? That's what I recall.
No.
Apparently it was broken. I just didn't recall that. Anyway, moving on. We've seen that photo. We've seen this is another photo. We've got this one was also an exhibit presented at trial, and then we're going to move down to one that I just got on, but I moved away when we started talking about that other. This is the spare tire cover, which I've had problems with for a long time. Just ask Jamie; he'll tell you about it. But well, the spare tire cover.
Yeah.
For those that haven't heard the story, it came back from the.
Back up, Jax.
I'm sorry.
Go back up to the first spare tire cover one, so we can point out that there's no evidence tape on there.
Oh, okay. That's up here. That's up here.
So first one, just go back up one.
Yeah, right there. It's coming. Sorry for the delay, but you'll see it there. There's no evidence tape up there, and there should be.
Mm-hmm. If you look right above the R, there's no white mark at all. So between this picture and the next picture, something was spotted.
So this is the pre-processing one.
Yeah, it's like that they took some photos, because we don't have metadata, so we can't say for sure when the photos were taken.
Mm-hmm. And
wasn't that Mike Riddle or whoever taking the fingerprints? Is that his little?
Yeah, Riddle was there.
Yeah, Riddle was there. Groffy. So.
Does anybody have a guess for the black circle above the V? Like a definite diagnosis of what that is? Is that the windshield wiper fluid?
That's the keyhole, ain't it?
No. The keyhole is to the left of the R. Does that dispense the washer fluid?
I think it does. I didn't look it up today, but
yeah, I think that does. Well, my Rev dispensed it from the top.
Yeah. See, mine did. My CRV and my Ford does too. Mine dispense from the top. I don't know what that piece is, and I want to know. It just looks odd.
Yeah, I think that's the spray nozzle, but I could be wrong. But we'll look it up. We'll find out.
Okay.
Anyway, spare tire cover.
Yeah, just saying that the spray nozzle.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. But okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you see it on other pictures.
The spare tire cover, I have real problems with because it came back from the crime lab, from the Wisconsin crime lab to Calumet County, queso, and the receipts on, I want to say May 26th. I think that's right. I'm sure it is actually. May 26, 2006. We don't know exactly what happened, but Wiegert took it at some point, and then it got turned in to, what's the evidence guy's name? Not Jacobs, but
Ertl?
No, not Ertl. The evidence tech at Calumet, Hawkins. He got turned. Yeah, it got turned into Hawkins on June 30th, 2006. So there's a 35-day period. I don't know when he took it, but he did take it at some point for some. There's no report, and then it gets turned into Hawkins for an evidence tag. So I'm suspicious that.
Yeah. So Stephen Avery's camera was in safekeeping. The RAV4 tire cover was in safekeeping. And the Villy CD was in safekeeping.
For at least a few.
Safekeeping.
Well, he never even entered that into the ledgers for safekeeping at that point. It was he just had it.
Oh wow, that's even worse.
Yeah, there's nothing at all until June 30th.
Yeah.
There's not even a thing of her passing it to Uyghur, from what I recall.
No, nothing.
She got it from the lab, Baldwin, on that big trip where she took a whole bunch of stuff home on the 25th of
That's
May.
right.
And then there's nothing saying why it was not for all we know, she played around with it for 2 weeks, then gave it to Uyghur. We don't know because there is no chain of
report.
custody between the 25th and 30th.
No, nothing.
Yeah. Well, this was a picture when I thought.
Month, by the way.
Go ahead, yours.
This is a picture where, this is a picture when I thought, hey, Hanberg's theory is explained. It's the other way around, right? But it's taken from on the other side.
The other side, yeah.
So it's the same car.
Okay, I think we're going to get into some inside pics now.
This is a new picture, yeah.
There's, if I zoom in on this, I can turn this, I guess. Let me turn it so it's a little flatter. Like that. So there's a CD case. And then there's a bottle of water. And I guess that this right here at the bottom beside the passenger seat is the Pixaflat. I think that's what that is.
Yep, that's what I think it is too. Let's look at how clean the passenger floorboard is. If Brendan Dassey should have had his muddy, dirty, bloody feet in there riding around in the RAV with Steven.
Yeah, he'd been sitting on the CD case too.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm probably going to have to rotate.
If he was sitting on the CD case, how did blood get on it from Avery's finger?
Magic.
And another one of the CD case, and I'm not sure what's in this spray bottle or this bottle right here that's beside the CD case. I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody else.
Body spray. I think it's listed somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's it's Calgon Hawaiian Ginger or Calgon spray. It's body spray.
Oh, okay.
I think there was some Bath and Body Works stuff in her car.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a list with some Bath and Body Works brand stuff.
This is a new photo.
What's interesting is the blood is not apparent in this. I mean, I know it's there because we know it was applied before it went to the salvage yard or at the
Galataki says it almost looks like Pixaflat.
Oh yeah, that one at the bottom at the passenger side. I'm sure that other one above, but yeah, I'm almost positive that's Pixaflat. But this photo here is new. I've never seen it. And that blue bag is in the back. That was never inventoried. There's more stuff that's coming. You guys will see it. the blood
it
spot.
was inventoried. It went back on the 13th or whatever of January. Nobody knows where it came from because it doesn't have any lab receipts or anything from what I remember for all the stuff that was in her car. They found it in paper bags in the back of her car when they opened it on early January 2006.
The blue bag was that was a tripod.
Yeah, that's what I was telling.
Yeah, in a case, isn't it?
That's what I was telling Christina last night, that was a tripod for her camera.
Yeah,
it went in that bag that she stored.
Yeah.
So
Anthony Hill says
it right away.
Anthony Hill says there's a CB radio, but no aerial outside.
CB radio.
There is an aerial.
I don't think that's a CB. That's the CD case.
Yeah, that's a CD case that's in the seat above. We know that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Next photo, another new one that I've never seen before. If I have, I don't remember it, but it's a better photo of that blue bag. It almost looks like there's two in there, but maybe I'm just looking at it incorrectly. It looks like there's one on the front right passenger and the back left passenger as well, or back right and back left passenger. It looks like there's a bag in each, but maybe that goes all the way across there.
Two blue bags, but if it's a tripod, it would be long.
Yeah.
And then it would have those foldable legs in the middle. So we'd have to look at one to see how it lays, but it does look like two bags.
It does. And I'm not sure. Let me zoom in here a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what this is over here. Oh, that's the draw. That's the draw thing. Yeah, okay. That's the drawstrings to close it. That's what that is. Never mind. Duh. Okay, another one. I'll have to turn that one as well. This has got, you can see the blood spot in it if I zoom in on it. It's a little hard to tell because, again, because it's a scan photo, it's not fantastic, but you can see it there. I can see it. So, but we've seen this photo before. Another one I'll have to turn. Seen this photo before as well. But this is
that piece of paper right there next to that blood thing. Is that a fingerprint that they took? Right next to where that blood drip is?
So I think that
no, it's
there
a
are labels that come on Toyotas. Like there's a lot of them have stickers in the
and the door jamb, yeah.
I think it's just another VIN number.
Mm-hmm. That's what
no, they don't put. They only put the VIN number on the sticker on the driver's left door on the outside, and then there's a plate, the VIN plate, and then it's on the engine. And I think it's somewhere. I also think it's somewhere underneath, maybe on the transmission or stamped into the body somewhere. I think there's 5 places that it's. I think there's 5. I think there's 5 places that they stamp the VIN number in one way or another. Unfortunately, we didn't get a shot of the VIN number. I was hoping we did, but we didn't.
That was the first thing. That's the first thing that Jax wanted to know.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, this photo here I've seen before, but it was cropped.
It's definitely straw in the flowboard. There have been theories about that. Something it was. With this photo, you can confirm it is straw or some kind of a weed. Definitely, a plant material in the flowboard. And then I was thinking, we didn't look last night. Can we see that hair? Y'all were discussing it yesterday, Jinx. Where was that hair?
Right here.
That was in the vent right underneath the wheel.
I don't think that.
Let's see if we can see it in this pit.
Well, I zoomed in.
Too dark, I think. It's too dark.
Yeah, I think the quality is just too low. I didn't look for it, but
hair you need to be able to see like the reflection of it is kind of how you see it when you see it in the pictures,
Right.
This one I don't see it in this one.
No, I don't either.
And that straw, could that be like she actually had her mother and father had a farm?
Yeah.
You know, could this something she's bringing in from being near the farm? She is hanging out at mom's house every now and then.
Yep.
Very well could be.
And she's, you know, she's out and about taking photos from other places and could have picked it up there too. So, okay, here's another interesting photo. I've seen this, but this actually seems to be a brighter version of what we've seen before. You can really see in that little cubby hole, little console area in front of the gear shift.
Is there a thing in there? Oh no, that's not the console they're talking about for the.
No. I'm talking about the. No. This is the little cubby where you throw change or whatever. This is this is a clear
strawberry candy there.
Yeah.
I've seen this strawberry candy before.
It looks like the cigarette lighter's been pulled out so where she can plug up her CD to play. It's like it's in there. Ink pen. This is the clearest photo I've ever seen though. And of course there's the blood swap.
Of course, there's no blood on the gear shift.
Oh no! Well, God, you're being logical now. Come on now. Another one I'll have to move again.
Yeah, they're all twisted.
Yeah, they're all. This photo here, though, I got all kinds of issues here. I've never seen this photo, and there's more of this same area, and we can let everybody talk about it. I'll just throw out my 2 cents. There's a CD there. I think that in the player or inventoried. I think we decided this was an umbrella last night, didn't we?
Stop.
Christina?
Yes, we did. We're not sure about a couple of things.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We were on the phone. Well, I was just going to say we went. It took us like 3 hours to go through this stuff, and we probably spent a half hour on this picture,
probably
trying to figure it out. So it looks like a cassette tape, and then a CD. And then in between the cassette tape and the CD player is a black object. And it looks, I mean, you would think it's an electronic space because of where it's at. And then also between the CD player and the seat is a black rubber looking object. And then the metal thing with the black handle, we're guessing is an umbrella. I've had an umbrella with a handle that looks very similar to that.
But that could be some kind of tool.
Yeah, it could be. That was the first thought Jack had.
I think it's a lug wrench. What you see on the right side is a lug wrench.
Yeah.
You see in the back of the vehicle, you see actually the top of the lug wrench peeking out through the
bottom
into the cargo area.
Okay.
That's a lug wrench, and the cassette tape is that was basically used to transform your cassette player to a CD player, so it's like an adapter,
So
cassette tape in.
Player. I had one of those. Yeah. I had one of those.
It is the lug wrench the one that she wants to retest? Because didn't she ask to test that?
Yeah. That's it. So why is it there?
My husband says that it's most likely not a lug wrench because most lug wrenches don't have rubber handles on them. But he said it looks like maybe a ratchet, or what was the other thing?
To remove your oil filter, there's usually a handle.
What about a hammer, guys? Oh, look. And if you look right where the metal part is, in between the seat and the plastic molding where the seat would rest against the body of the car, there's a dark little shadow on one side.
I zoomed in on it.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe it's the nail puller they use to break up the bookcase.
I don't think that's a good one.
Can that not be some kind of ratchet they use to remove your oil filter? Maybe.
Those generally got a band on them.
Yeah.
It's a weird place to stack it, isn't it?
It's
very
awkward.
Yeah, why the hell is it there? That's kind of a really strange spot.
And why wasn't this picture submitted? And why isn't some of this evidence listed? That's the other thing. Because we don't know what that black rubber thing is.
No.
Sherry's in the chat. Sherry's in the chat yelling, "That is a hammer."
Yeah, to me that looks like the horn like a hammer,
It looks
because
like a hammer.
we buy hammers here and it's got that rubber handle on it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me that looks more like a hammer than it does an umbrella.
That thing, the thing that I say that makes it kind of a weird looking hammer is the above the rubber handle, the metal area seems really thick to be a hammer. Now, I'm not saying it's not a hammer. It just seems to be really big.
Guys, it's a luck wrench. It is a luck wrench. That type is in evidence.
Okay.
It is.
You're saying you've seen this evidence photo. So this object is registered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Evidence photo.
This is a better photo of it. This is a better photo of it. Yours, everyone.
What is it? Do you remember the number? Yours? Did you say the number?
Yeah, it's A16, and it's image number 5406. If you look it up on the Hambury's pictures, you'll see it.
5406. Okay.
You see that rubber handle really well, and you should go, yeah, that can't be anything else.
This photo here, I don't think I've ever seen this one either.
He wants to know if that's a blood stain in the picture on that door frame, on the one above it. The one we were just looking at.
The photo before this one?
Yes, the one that was yes, go up a little. Because I saw it too. Go up more. Go up more. Right there. See, right at the bottom of this? What's that red stuff down there? Right below the handle, like you see it where the red, you see? Go down a little. Down. You're going up. Yeah, your other down.
Okay.
Where is it?
The very tip of the picture on the bottom, right under that handle.
It's
on
rust.
The frame.
It's rust.
Last night. Oh yeah, I looked at that last night. I know what you're talking about. I'll see it. It's coming. You'll see it. There's a little delay there. You'll see it.
There.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I questioned that because I'm like, what the hell? Is that blood? I think it's rust. It's really rusty looking. This is we just looked at this one. I don't really think there's anything. I mean, that's a little bit.
That's why she needs her hands on that wrap.
Yeah.
Do you know what is in between the cassette tape and the CD player? What the black square object is?
It looks kind of rounded. Or you mean
that might be
underneath the cassette? Looks like a flashlight.
It might be part of that adapter
thing. Flashlight. One of them's coming. It's not a flashlight. But no, I'm talking about in between the CD player and the cassette tape. There's a black.
It's zoomed in there.
Yeah.
That looks rounded to me too. Could that be another CD case?
I'm just maybe, but
that'd be interesting.
It looks.
No, that's one of those things I have to look into the ref items to see what that is. I think it's part of the adapter.
Yeah. What if that's a DC adapter, and it just goes with all that?
That's what I'm thinking.
I think so.
05. It looks like it's part of the setup because it's all together.
Yeah.
Hey, I wonder if that rubber thing is some kind of a microphone.
You talk about this thing, right?
That's the cigarette lighter thing that goes like she could do either a cassette tape or the cigarette lighter to power it.
Yeah.
And I think this piece right here that I'm zoomed in on, it's going to come here in a second. You'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah, that piece right there, it's zoomed in now. I think that's the part that actually plugs into the cigarette lighter that powers everything.
Yeah.
I've seen in the chat a lot of people are talking about the rip, the tear, and the motor seat. I thought Teresa was meant to be, prim and proper about her car, liked it tidy, everything like that. Would she really go about with a rip in the seat?
It's not a rip. It's not. We That's actually a CD. It's not a rip. I said the same damn thing.
Know that footage.
Doesn't have the top on it.
It's a center console. There's a console in between the two front seats, and there's a CD sitting in this console, and what you're seeing is the names of the songs. He'll zoom in on. See?
Yeah, you'll see
but
it.
it looks like there's a rat on the back seat that's on the back of the seat that's lying down on the back of the seat. That looks like a rip. When the seat's folded down, the pictures with the seats folded down the
have to look at a different picture.
I must not be this.
What picture you're talking about.
Yeah, we'll get to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we looked at. I'll have to turn it again. And for some reason, the lug wrench thing is gone in this photo. It's just not there.
Interesting.
Yep, that's been moved. Okay,
Maybe
here we
they
go.
Removed it at that point for evidence.
Yeah.
See the stick? Is that a stained sticker, or is that a Mike Riddle sticker?
No, I think that's a Toyota sticker.
Okay.
And then this photo here is we're getting to the cargo area.
For some reason, I'm really delayed.
It's OBS. It's OBS. It's OBS. Everyone's delayed.
Yeah, mine is too.
You got the Terry sees right there, that white spot on the back of the.
Yeah.
Remember, this is also a used car, guys, so this might have had some damage to her car. Some of this damage, if there is a rip in the seat, it might have been bought that way, being as it was
That's
used.
right.
It wasn't a brand.
It was
That's
4
correct.
years old.
Yeah.
There's a picture there of the light in the back, and you can see it is broken from that.
Yeah. You can tell it's broken. Yeah.
Can I always point out, if you look at the left of the light, of the blinker light, you see the top of the lug wrench. Did you see that?
Right there. I see it.
Just go to the left. That's a bit of the.
Oh, so it's not a flashlight.
No.
No.
Okay.
I think that. Yeah, I think that's just a reflection from the metal. Is what we're seeing there.
Yeah, you see the inside of the blinker, the lug wrench thing.
What do we think the white spot is on the
seat?
Folded down.
Yeah. I don't know what that is. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like big enough to be a Riddle sticker or one of the stain or anything. It's like I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's just a piece of trash that got stuck on there, like a gum wrapper or something.
Yep, it's possible. All right, moving on. Another one of the back. This is. I mean, to me, we've seen these photos, but they're brighter. They're not being contrasted down so much. We can see here, back seats lifted up. We talked about this some last night too, and a lot of people may not know, but in Stalky's report, his bench notes, he talks about the underneath of these back seats. There's blood. There's a bar that runs underneath there, and there's blood on it. In the spots. It's not a lot. He doesn't really even detail about a lot of it, but he did write it in his bench notes. So it's.
And nobody ever tested that blood to see if it was the first or not, right?
That's right. And see, and that's the thing. Whoever lifted these back, popped that light out and came to the cargo area, lifted the seats up. That could be their blood on the underneath there, where they put that parking lot there. Maybe not. I don't know. That's speculatory. So, questions, quick comments before I move on to the next one. We good? Okay.
Yep.
We've seen this one as well, but you can tell this is a really detailed photograph. That little rubber leg there, that's going to become a little bit more important here in a minute.
Jeff Jones is saying the socket plus fix a flat equals flat tire, folks. That front left tire was flat. The killers repaired the car before they could push it. Wonder why it sat at bridge for days.
Well, I had suggested a long time ago.
I differ with you, Jeff. I think she knows who, like somebody hit her that she knew, and while they were putting the light in the back, that's how the door was open, and he hit her with the tool that they were using, That's why the cast off blood is on the cargo door. That's what I think. I think the accident happened to stop her.
See, I suggested a long time ago that this focus I've got on the spare tire cover is that left front tire got damaged and they had to change it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's right or not, but
it could be cleaned because didn't somebody check and the tires are the same? Didn't Henberry do a post on that?
I don't remember.
I think that the tire that's a spare tire for a RAV is an actual tire. It's not like a spare like most.
No, it's a full. It's a full size. It is. Yep. It is a full size tire.
Have a full size tire.
Which maybe that's why that one's cleaner because it wasn't on the road as long as the other one getting the dirt. Or was it dirt? Well, was it dirt? It was dirty at the site, right?
Yeah, but it also was not completely clean. You know what I mean?
True.
So there was something dirt going off.
As long, it wouldn't have gotten as much dirt on it as the other three may have had.
Yeah, I think it's due to dragging it to the grass area at the berm location to get it in line for the tower to get it up.
To put it in the box.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, this photo here we've seen, but this is a more high-def version of what I've seen before. It's a more close-up. And what's interesting is that if I zoom up here and you see this, it definitely looks like hair or something that's there. But that seat is in the way. It looks like it's been let down.
Well, I want to remind you that there was a piece of hair found in one of the swabs from that area that they never put into evidence.
Yeah, there's more coming. There's more coming that's gonna.
Christine,
blow.
Can you mute that, Christine?
Can I what?
We got echo.
Yeah, background noise.
Oh, here. I put my headphones in. I'm hoping that's better.
Anyway, this is a more high-def photo of one we've seen before. But keep this in mind, this section, because that seat is in the way. But if somebody's laying there, there's no way that seat was down like that. There's no way. I don't think it'd work. Anyway, moving on. So now we're back a little further.
I think the seat was put down after they took that light out because I think that was kind of holding it up. So then the seat goes down, and then it ends up putting that impression in there when the seat is down.
Well, I think this impression here that we see now, that's where the seat normally sat. You know, that's where that rubber ground is. Yep. Yeah. So, and then of course this is another high def photo. This one right here, though, we've never seen this photo. There's hairs on that.
I've seen this photo. Are you sure you've never seen that photo?
Yeah, we've seen this. Not in this high definition.
No, not this one. I'm lagging a little behind you.
Yeah, everybody.
I'm on YouTube and I'm a little slower.
Right.
I've never seen this one before.
I've never seen this photo. And it's got, as we can see, I see a hair there. I see one over here, unless it's the same. And it looks like there might be.
Oh, this one's new, yeah.
It looks like there's might be hair going through this section here. I can't really tell, but it definitely looks like blood there.
Yeah.
I think this is what Stocky was talking about in his notes.
Well, maybe one of them, but he talked about that bar underneath there. There's a bar that runs in front. So this is interesting. It's hard to say what evidentiary value that it may have for Zellner at this point. I don't know. But.
I don't think she's ever going to get the RAV. I hope she does. I pray she does.
Yeah, same here.
I think this is the crime scene.
I wonder if she can't ask for that RAV tire cover.
She could. I mean, there was a number of things that she wanted, but if she can get an evidentiary hearing, then hell, who knows what could come into play. Hopefully, all of it. And then we get in more into a little bit more of the left side of the cargo area. There's that piece of tape or whatever that I said tape. I don't know. It's some kind of sticker. We've seen this before. I think that's the memory card. That's A13 that they found something of a DNA evidentiary value on A13A that was never submitted for profile. And we think that's a gum wrapper or a granola bar wrapper. I don't know for sure.
That's in there.
Christina, this next one's going to come up here for y'all. This is another high-def photo. There's a couple of spots here that look like blood spots. Don't know what they are, but there's a suspicion, and I'll zoom in on them. There's one right there. I'll let it come in there. There we go. There's a spot there, and then let me scroll over here just a little bit. If you look there, there's also another spot.
There's two. There's one in between the lines, like in between the two screws. If you go from right to left, there's like the little brown spot right there. And then right above that, back towards the screw on the right, there's that one drop.
Yeah, I see it. And then another one down more towards the bumper to the left of that one. Don't know that it's blood, but since there's blood back there, right?
Yeah, I would have swabbed it if I was processing the car.
Yeah, and then I talked to Christine about this last night. This bar that you see on the cargo door, these rafts come with a netting where you can put like bags of groceries or whatever for transport. Now, obviously, this one had been removed prior to whatever happened here at the back door, which I think this is probably where she was attacked. Blap, blap, with whatever. There's too many spots. There's too much blood back there.
You know what, though? Actually, the netting being removed after the attack would make sense because it would have protected the door from having more blood spatter.
Very, very possible. That's very possible. Let's see.
Those nets are actually made to go hook across. So when you open the door, your stuff that you have, like groceries and things, doesn't come pouring out.
Right.
Basically, that's all that net was good for. I had one.
But I mean, you could hold stuff in place kind of. So like you said, it would be all over the back of your cargo area. And then this last one in this batch here, number 26 is the battery. We've all seen this, so I don't think there's anything new here. I really haven't compared this one to the other that we already have, but I don't think there's anything new. So, yeah, that's into that file. The next one, I think, has got 5 photographs in it. And if we've seen this one here, it'll pop in here in a second. This is I think the old Rambler hood or something. Somebody else will have to correct me. I think that's the Rambler hood.
I had never seen that photo. I don't know if it's been out, if it's just been color copied, but I never knew it looked like that until this photo.
Yeah. And then most of these I think we've seen. There's a front right of the RAV. This is on the property. And there's another one. And then the back left corner. And then another side shot. That's all in that file. And then the last one. Where was the last one? Did I pull that one up? Maybe I didn't. Oh, yeah. There's only one. This is it.
I don't see how this car was ever classified as dark green.
Well, we've talked about that.
Don't get me going there.
I just want to put it out there because somebody was arguing with me today about Colburn calling in the license plate. And I'm like, look, they couldn't even decide what color car she had until the trial. But
blue, green, teal.
Yeah, dark green, green, kind of blue, green.
Mystic teal mica.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay.
What was their argument about the call?
That he wasn't. I say that Rimiker sent him to identify a set of weights because we have radio transmissions that say that.
I got to step away, guys. You guys take it away for a minute.
He said that I don't know that. He said that I don't know that Rimiker sent him to check a set of plates. 7 minutes into sending him to do so, he calls to ask him, hey, have you found out who those plates come back to yet? And Colburn says negative. And I'm sorry, I don't know how long before he calls to see if he's identified them. Colburn says negative, and then 7 minutes later, he arrives to where the plates are, and he calls in whose plates? Sam William Henry, 582, and whose car was found without plates on it 2 days later. I mean, why would Stephen take off the license plates? It makes no sense. He covered it all up. So, the license plates were removed because Colburn had consciousness of guilt because he knew he was on a radio call calling in those license plates. That's why. It's the same reason why they didn't, this is my opinion, but the same reason why they didn't diagnose the male DNA on there. Because they know it's not Stephen, they know it's not Brendan, so anybody else's DNA on there is going to be a problem. Especially if it's Andrew Colburn's. Because
well,
why?
You heard my theory on why Colburn probably made that call, right?
No, but I would love to.
So we were just now talking about how all even among truthers, there's all this debate about what color the Stam car is. And so imagine you're Colburn and you've already gotten all this information from Wiegert, you've gotten information from the meeting you just had with the whole group at MTSO before you headed out. So he has the information he needs. There would be absolutely zero reason for him to have to call this in because he's already got the information. So imagine you're Colburn, you're out there, you're pulling in, you're sitting at the lot and you see that vehicle, but it's not the right color. It's a RAV4, but it's not green. It's blue. And now you have a question in your mind. Oh, is that really her car? And then by force of habit, because this is what you're used to doing as a patrol officer, you automatically call in the plate because he's not thinking this is supposed to be done on the sly.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what happened is Colburn screwed up. His habits kind of threw everything off.
Yep. I agree completely. I agree.
I mean, is there any in situ photos of the RAV on the Avery property of that left-hand side of the motor where the lights flashed?
No.
See, that's even weirder as well. So the only time that you're seeing a photo of that motor being damaged is when it's in the garage of the crime lab.
Well,
when they should have took pictures of every bit of that car, every side.
It shows that it's damaged because you can see right through the car. In Sam's picture, you can see through the hole in the front.
Yeah, there's one it's really pretty sketchy. It's not like a open, but
they did not. They did not remove the stuff off of the RAV and walk around and document the RAV before they placed it in the trailer.
That's exactly what I mean, Sunshine. Yeah. Because that RAV, they took pictures of every other side of that RAV. They took the whole right side, the front wheel, the back wheel. They went round to the back end of the left side, took a picture of the back wheel, and further in, looking at the passenger door, but I have never seen a photo on the salvage yard of that left front side of that motor.
Yeah,
I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's one in the groupings of photos we've got. It's not a good picture, but it's definitely, you can tell that the left front is damaged.
It's picture of them saying, removing the evidence and saying, "Oh my gosh, her RAV is damaged. Let me document it
No.
in case it is because of the crime."
Well,
And
we
you
say,
know they thought
we
that, or they should have
we
thought
say
that.
that, but we don't have all the photos. Clearly, we
Yeah,
see
no,
now.
I think there's more pictures
Oh,
out
I'm
there.
sure. I'm sure there is.
I think there is.
I'd bet real money on it.
Especially
There's
at
like
the lab.
5,000, 6,000 pictures that I counted in Discovery alone, and we've only seen like 2,000 some of those.
Well, we've got roughly 3,000. We've got roughly 3,000 photos. I've been told that there's 7,300 plus photos total.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, there's a lot of photos. So there is another file. We've already got it. There's some other files that we that Christina got that we've already got. I didn't bring it up. I guess I can show it right quick. This is the coroner's report, the 3-page report. Remember, Christina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've seen this one, but I'll go ahead and pop it in there.
I can pull it up on mine too, real quick. We can go through it because since mine lags so far behind you, just
It'll take
tell me.
It'll take a second to pop in there.
You know what I find is weird? You know what's not in this that I would have thought would have been in here is Bennett's report.
Yeah, it is kind of strange that he didn't have it, or that he didn't send it. One of the two, because he sent you Eisenberg's 2 reports, right?
Mm-hmm. I think he sent me his file. I don't think he held anything back. I think he sent me everything he had.
You may be right.
Yeah, because why send me stuff we didn't have? If he, you know what I mean? If he was gonna, I think he just gave me his whole file. I'm surprised that, but I find it odd. And the other thing is, I'm surprised that there's not actual DNA analysis in this file either.
He doesn't do that though.
Showing, I know, but he should. But so in a death such as this, where you're hinging so much on the DNA to determine who this person is, you would think that you would want to show your work to see how you arrived at the conclusion.
Well, that's kind of what Willis was talking about. How did you come about to sign this death certificate? You need to get up on the stand and swear. What's going on, and they somehow, got around that. But
I'm not passing judgment on the Hall box at all.
No.
I wouldn't have bought this as proof as my child being deceased.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm telling you, I've been through it. People want something to blame. It's just natural.
They got manipulated.
Well, that's right. The cops and these DAs, they put their pointer on and say, these guys did it. They're the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're evil.
Now, the other interesting thing is Steyer is on this autopsy. So he signed it. Did you pull it up yet? Because I'm on.
Oh yeah, it's up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Steyer is on the autopsy, and he did all this, but yet, when did he do this? Like, do we have a report documenting this that I don't know about? Maybe it's a DOJ report.
Let's see. I don't know that we have another. Well, there may be another report. I don't know if yours may know.
Yeah.
I can remember, or Jinx. I know we've got this one.
Mm-hmm. I've seen this one before as well.
I'm pretty sure. Sammy, didn't we do a powder puff on this one? I'm sure we did.
So
we may have.
So it says the exam commenced at 4:10 p.m. on November 17th. And I think, where was this held? I think I'm going to try and FOIA this place.
I think this is at Dane County, I think.
Oh, I already tried them. Boy, they shut me down quick. They don't want anything to do with this at all. Like, I have had 3 denials, no matter how I word it. They literally said to me, I don't mean to sound like a broken record. That's how the email started to me, telling me no for the 3rd time. But I find it hard to believe that so many things were done at this facility, and there's not one piece of paper in that facility discussing this case. I have a hard time buying it.
Well, we just have to accept it for what it is for now.
Yeah.
And keep pressing. That's all we can do.
Yeah. But I mean, so they're saying they don't have anything. But the exam commenced at 11:17, and the specimen container is a Ziploc bag, which has been sealed by evidence tape labeled 1116. So is this coming from Eisenberg, I guess? Oh, it's got a DCI number. DCI case number is 051776. These are the skull bones, so they came from Eisenberg. It talks about the radiopaque fragments. There are pictures on the 2 Eisenberg reports that we got.
Yeah, the low quality pictures.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is pretty much everything we already know.
Yeah.
And Jax will link this in the description.
Yeah, we've got this one. We'll get it linked though for anyone that hasn't seen it. So, well, number one, I'm just going to say, is a great FOIA. Just goes to show you, you just don't give up. You just don't. You just keep pressing. And you just never know when you might get the right person that's going to. They don't have a goal. They don't have any real intentions to withhold anything. No matter what, Kleiser, his pricing was completely wrong. And then when Christina showed me that, I was like, no. For a CD of photographs, should be like $5, maybe 10 at most, depending. It doesn't matter if they have to scan them or not. That's they might be a charge a little bit, but to scan 30 photographs shouldn't take more than I wouldn't think more than 15 minutes tops, and get them into a file. So
he wanted $75 for that.
Yeah, just for those photos, which is completely wrong. So, questions, comments before we've been rolling here about 2 hours and 17 minutes. It's been a interesting. Really, there's actually interesting things all throughout the FOIA. The worksheet I found very interesting. The amendment to the death certificate I also found very interesting. We need to follow up on that. And of course, the photos. Obviously, clearly, I think we can all agree that there are more RAV4 photos that we have never seen. That are, I don't really understand why they're being withheld. If there's nothing to keep away from the public eye, what's the problem? Right? That's how I see it.
There's more quality RAV4 photos being withheld.
Yeah.
Because these photos show us that they actually did document the scene, and they have chosen to submit as evidence photos to continue to try and control the narrative and not tell the true story, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly they used a high def digital camera, HQ, or whatever you want to call it, to document, because so many of those photos, you could tell they were high def. The scan quality, though, you always lose everything. You lose the metadata, which again, Wisconsin's one of those states that recognizes that metadata is part of any record that's done electronically. They were very clear about that. However, given our struggles in getting various pieces of information, I pulled up, as most people know, I did a FOIA. I requested FOIAs and replies from January 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2021. And the struggle that they have with technology is just quite amazing to me. And not even talking about the FOIAs that I have submitted in order to get various pieces of evidence, from audio calls to, other things that they're electronic files. And there's this immense struggle. This last one that I'm tied up in, it's just crazy that an IT guy would tell a county sheriff that, hey, I can't make sense of these audio calls because I don't have a Windows 98 computer anymore. Sorry. Well, he didn't deny my request. He just, I got to have an ancient operating system. But we know that's not true. It's just not true at all. With that, I will add there are other FOIAs that I found that they've claimed that the CDs don't work properly. They can't make it work, so they can, therefore they can't fulfill the FOIA. I've got that one specifically. There's another one that's along those same lines. There's technology issues. So, I mean, I did the only thing I could do. I can't afford to hire a lawyer. I just packed all of it up and I sent it off to the DOJ. I mean, they're the ones that wrote the damn policy, and we're just trying to follow it. I know yours has been through his own battles with getting various DCI documents and other documents. He's done a great job. So has Rookie and so many people. Christina.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing about this particular FOIA, because I've done the FOIA of the Glazer, documents about Glazer as well, and I got denied because no such record exists. Yeah. I was like, okay, and you got that records. That's what I want to point out, that there's something you do differently in your FOIA that maybe touches a thing that they go for you and send you those records. It's really a good thing to be creative, or think outside the box, or maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I did too many FOIAs at that.
I think it depends I think it depends on the person. It depends on their mood. It depends on the day of the week. It depends on what they feel like doing.
Day of the month, yeah.
Yeah. So Jinx and I were talking, and she's like, well, I don't want to FOIA anything because you took all my FOIA ideas. And it kind of hurt my feelings. And I was like, no, I didn't. I said, well, everybody should FOIA the same exact thing from everyone.
That's right.
That's how the bones. That's how the bones giveaway got discovered. Is because we wanted to know more, and somebody, just happened to send in a FOIA, and somebody happened to get it, and that's how Zellner even knows they destroyed the bones. So don't say, oh, she's got this already, or he's already tried that. Who cares? Try again.
And there's other FOIAs.
They'll give us an extra page or a picture.
There's people that FOIA'd stuff that they're not part of our group, that or a group of truthers or whatever, that they just want the information for themselves, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's theirs to do with as they please. So don't give up. If you get denied, try a different track, try a different agency. There's all kinds of contacts.
Also communicate with other people.
Absolutely.
Other people may have done this before, or done it another way, and you think like, oh, maybe I should this. The wording is all that there is. If the wording is different, then you might just do the same FOIA like three or four times again, and then the fourth time is just touchdown. That's what it is.
Hey, Jack, who was it that needed the Windows 98 computer?
Yeah.
Who was that needed it?
Wiegert? Yeah.
Well, maybe everybody should donate their old Windows 98 computers to Wiegert, so he has some.
I'm afraid that we would have to send a tech to Calumet County to help them install a boot manager to put a second operating system on the computer.
I'm pretty sure if you go to a local library, you might find one.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous to tie these audio files to that operating system.
Here's the thing, is that there is an email that Temp linked in a post where Kratz is discussing Wiegert's ability to electronically send phone calls to Kaczynski.
Yep.
And it sounds like the way to go, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically it sounds like, he said, it's super simple. We'll just send them to you. So if he could send them to the state's preferred public defender for Brendan Dassey
in 2006.
In 2006, why is he struggling to send just certain calls? Not all of them. It's specific calls in 2021.
Yeah, it's quite amazing.
So the rule you have to remember is to know thine enemy, and your enemy is willing to play the game of death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
The state's whole stance on this case has been delay. And because the left hand isn't always talking to the right hand, you have different evidence folks or different people involved in this process that aren't on the same page. So some will release some stuff, others will release other stuff, but the main goal is just give out just enough to sort of satisfy the requests and just play the delay game. And that's what they're going to keep doing. It's going to take somebody making a huge mistake, really, like they did with the Bones report, to get something out there. But that's really what's happening. So just keep that in your head when you're doing things. That's the enemy you're fighting.
Yeah, I agree. Knowing that certain things, I just the phone calls are just a whole. I don't even know how to categorize the phone calls and certain interviews that have been sealed. And I got one that I found that I know people have been told it's sealed. It's not, or somebody got a copy. So I'm going to FOIA it. So
yeah.
Which one is that?
Dolores. So.
Well, KZ's just put out a tweet on Stephen's blood. Epigenic forensics for suspect identification and age prediction, forensic genomics. This is how we knew Stephen Avery's blood did not come from the blood vial. His blood came from his sink and was planted in Teresa Hallback's RAV4 by the killer. And she's just posted that.
Interesting. Well, I'm not a big believer in the blood sink, but she's a lawyer. If that's the way she wants to go about it, then all I can do is support her.
Yeah, I kind of put that in the same bucket as this whole Sawinski thing. I mean, I have to hope she's got something solid that is supporting that, but I can't see it. I don't know where that proof would come from or how she could have a definitive answer on it.
The link to go from one to the other. I agree. It's
yeah. I mean,
that's a little more out there with information that we have at hand, at least from what I've seen. But she's the lawyer. I'm just gonna support her the best I can. I don't necessarily go with that theory, but we'll see.
She obviously knows what she's doing because she has exonerated 20 people. So
yeah,
that doesn't mean I agree with everything she does.
Agreed. She's a lawyer, and just like any other thing, we don't necessarily are going to agree about certain things. We all disagree all the time. That doesn't mean we don't support each other. So anyway, is there any other questions or comments or anything that we missed along the way? I've been trying to kind of go back and look at.
Everybody's saying thank you, Jack, for putting this out and doing this open mic.
Well, I really have to thank. I really have to thank everyone here. Christine, she's been kind of a FOIA warrior too here for the last 6 weeks now, and she stayed after it, and that's a lot of times what it takes. And these other people, I just think of myself as part of you guys. I'm just a mouthpiece, I stream
it's
it.
It's a foul play team.
That's right, and and others that are out there as well that support what we're doing, and that to me is the most important thing. I'm all about the truth. That's what I want. I want everything out there so we can make a informed decision about what happened on October 31st, leading up to whatever date, because I know it's not as been explained by the state. I know it's not. It didn't happen that way. So that's my goal. That's been, I never thought even a year ago that I would be doing anything like this here. 2 years ago, forget it. I didn't want anything to do with that. But presenting information, because I've been doing it for a long time. I'm certainly not the brainiac by any means. I just want to help people here people that are listening to us get the information out, stopping any misinformation. We've had a lot of problems with that too. Teaching people that want to FOIA how to do it and getting more involved. That's the only way. I mean, for me, I know that I never expected that anything that we do is going to break this case. That was never a goal of mine. My goal is to get information. Even if information that we get back is not ground shaking, like what we just looked at. It's not ground shaking, but it leads to other questions and other information, knowing that it's out there and how to get it. That leads us to, again, expanding that picture of what the state has and what we've not been allowed to see, what the jury didn't. It all comes down to really to what the jury didn't see. Maybe the lawyers didn't see it at the time as well. So that's really what kind of work comes down to for me.
Yeah, I think we need to reach out to Buting and find out how the death certificate got admitted when that motion we see there from Willis said no.
Yep.
There had to have been something else after that allowed it to come in. So how did that happen?
Yep, agreed. And ask Buting if he saw that amended death certificate, because God, it's pretty big. Everything that we talked about today will be linked in the description. Zoe has sent me some links that looks like she's got pretty much everything loaded to the foul play library, so I'll get those linked along with these other reports that they're already out there, but I'll throw some links in the description as well. Anything else before we go? Good? Straight?
I might have something really quick here.
Yep.
So there was one photo of the passenger side in the RAV, and I've never seen it before, where we could see basically the floor on the passenger side where the passenger's feet would be resting. And there was nothing really there. And during her testimony, Pam, who found the RAV with her daughter, Nicole, first of all, Nicole says they were looking in the RAV very carefully because they wanted to find some piece of something in the RAV that would identify the vehicle as Teresa's, because they weren't positive that it was Teresa's vehicle.
Right.
And one thing Buting asked Pam was, did you see anything in the car with Teresa's name on it? And she says no, which is funny because there was that memory card there with Teresa's name.
Yes.
But the one thing Pam says she does see, or that she did see, was a pop can on the floor on the passenger side in the front.
Yep.
And the only pop can in Teresa's car is in the center console. And that has always confused people because there's a napkin on the pop can that suggested to some people that someone might have picked it up off somewhere else using the napkin so that they didn't contaminate it, but then forgot to take the napkin away. I thought that was interesting because Pam, presumably, she saw the RAV, if we believe the state story, she saw the RAV before anyone else did, other than Steve and Avery, yet she claims that the pop can was on the floor. But in the photos at the crime lab, the pop can is up in the center console.
Yeah,
that is very interesting.
I do remember that. There might be a photo. Let me look here while we're talking. See if I can.
And how many people drink their sodas with a napkin?
Yeah.
Around the can?
Sometimes girls do it in their cars so that the can doesn't sweat in the console and leave a puddle.
The napkin by itself isn't weird, but because I used to do that, I would wrap a paper towel around it so that my hands wouldn't get wet, and then dirt, because I live in the country, the dirt adheres to wetness. You know what I mean? So your hands would get filthy from drinking out of the can, like constantly, and then like, you know, dealing with your kids or whatever. So I would wrap a paper towel around mine. But that's really interesting.
And it can leave a puddle in the drink cup holder.
Okay, this photo here, I don't even see a pop can. This is weird. Let me pop this back in here.
Yeah, but we're being on, we're saying that it's on the floor, and then it's all of a sudden in the wee bit at the side. I mean, that's suspicious in itself. You know what I mean? Because how did it get to the flare onto there? And as Temp says, I think he might be right that somebody's picked that up with a napkin and forgot to take the napkin away.
And here's the thing: that is what connected Teresa to the vehicle. Is that wild cherry Pepsi can and the DNA profile from that?
What's that, Susan?
I also think that Pam would mention that napkin around the Pepsi can. You know, I see a Pepsi can on the floor. It's got a napkin around it.
Exactly. I think so too.
This is the one right here.
I would have expected Pam to look for. How about the person that owns the damn car? How about that?
Yeah, or a purse or something.
No logical thinking.
Yeah, not allowed, right?
Shame on me.
Yeah, that's the photo there.
Yeah. But in that other photo that I did, maybe the steering wheel column is in the way and you can't see this can, but you would think you can.
Well, hey, just a question. Did Pam say she saw it on the floor? Was that what was in her testimony, or where did she say that?
It was pre-trial, wasn't it?
Here, I'll read. I'll read exactly what she said. It's from the pre-trial, not the jury trial, so that might be confusing some people. So the question asked by Buting, there's a couple. Did you see any blood? No. Did you see anything with Teresa's name on it? No. Did you take note of anything else inside the vehicle? There was a pop can on the floor, on the passenger side in the front. Did you look under the vehicle? Right. I don't recall.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right. That makes you think like several items in the RAF may not have been in the same position as they were photographed in.
Correct.
Right.
Mark had not stopped by and thanked us for our presentation.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate that. That is interesting. I do remember that now that you brought it up, but I didn't think about it as we were going through the photographs. That is true. She did say that. I do remember it. I don't know what that.
It bothered Buting that she didn't see anything with Teresa's name on it because they claim to have been looking so carefully into the vehicle to look for something to identify the vehicle as Teresa's, and they missed the memory card that was apparently there with Teresa's name on it.
Yeah.
And the blood. They missed the blood too. I'm not as concerned about the blood because they didn't have flashlights. I mean, the police were looking into the RAB with flashlights and they didn't see the blood.
Yeah,
which is a little bit
the blood's kind of like, if you know what I mean, it's not a lot, it's not overwhelming, and it's in the corner, but the memory card and the soda can is troubling.
Yeah,
it is troubling.
And the problem though with them saying not that they did not see any blood is that Kratz is on record saying they did know about the blood.
He said that the following day, didn't he? Didn't he say that the following day, Tim? Yeah.
I believe he said it on November 10th.
Was it?
So, but he was talking about November 5th though, because he very clearly says it. They discovered the blood the first day they executed search warrants on the Avery property, which was November 5th, and then during his opening statements, he switches to saying we did not know about the blood, and because of that no one knew about the blood, they considered it a missing persons investigation, is what he was trying to tell the jury.
Well, that's typical. That's typical of him, you know.
So I don't know exactly. Sorry, I was just going to say I don't know exactly what motivated that change, but something motivated him changing. Okay.
Yeah, well, a lot of things and a lot of people changed. Diane Little Misty says, well, she changed her mind a lot between the pre-trial and the trial.
Well, yeah, she thought it was a two-door route during the pretrial.
Yeah, and then it was the bluish green as well when she made the phone call. You know, it's a bluish green.
Yeah, her whole testimony to me was it was just awful. I hate to be mean, but it was awful. I talked to.
It was bad acting.
It was terrible.
Especially when she went, "Oh, but God showed me the way."
Yeah. It was so weird. It was so weird.
It's just so weird. He just shined that beam of light on and went, "It's over here."
It all came across really bad, and there was no editing in that portion of what was said in Making a Murderer. It was terrible, and I don't know how much to attribute that to Ken Kratz coaching her, but God, if it was, man, he missed the mark. It was terrible.
Wear your cross. Be sure to wear your cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice,
thank you.
Big visible cross.
Thank
and
you
the
for pointing.
turtleneck, the white.
Thank you for pointing that out to Tim Tedious. That is an interesting thing about.
See, that's the power of numbers.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like that's why when we by networking.
Yeah.
You know, one person's piece of the puzzle added to somebody else's piece of the puzzle added to somebody else's, we begin to see the whole picture.
That's why, you know, for me in this, it can never become about one person. It has to be the group. We're not playing sports, you know. We're shooting for something that's not in a competitive kind of thing. It has to be, and I'd love for everybody to be in that group. You know, not everyone agrees. I get that. Not everyone personality meshes. I get that too.
We all have our theory of who's responsible and how they did it.
But you know, the goal. Well, I mean, you have to define what your goal is, and I know what my goal is. I don't know about everyone else. My goal is to get information, as much information out as we can. If it helps the case, hey, that's great. If it leads to changes within the system, that's even better because we know changes need to happen.
Yeah, the criminal justice system definitely needs some work. The Wisconsin criminal justice system needs some serious work.
Don't get me started on plea deals. Don't get me started on plea deals.
Yeah. My husband said he may not know exactly who did it, but he knows for a fact that it wasn't Stephen Avery or Brendan Dassey. So
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, absolutely agree with that.
I think we all feel that way.
Well, that's one thing that I guess on the other side of the coin that frustrates me is with all the brain power in this community, how we still can't figure out at least a general sense of how this happened. To me, it feels like all the pieces are there in front of us. I don't think we're missing much more that we need to have to put this together. But something's there we're not seeing that, you know, that all of us collectively aren't able to put together. Because you'd figure 6 years, how long we've been working on this? 5-6 years. You think with all this work we would have figured this out by now. Maybe not, you know, down to the infinite detail, but we would have known a general breakdown of how this happened and who was involved and did what. But we're not even there yet.
In 3 months, it'll be 6 years since it aired, and I know that I was on the bandwagon on the MAM sub within 2 days of that, and it was, you know, so it's been a long train ride. There's just too much we're missing.
I think if we could get there's a couple of things that I've been trying to get, and I know others have as well. There was a couple of tests done on the RAV. I think they know the RAV played a major role in the crime, and there was a separate investigation. Henberry hinted at it in some of his posts where he talks about the agent who didn't sign in that day didn't write a report that day, and they're not mentioned in any report. There was testing done on the RAV that wasn't submitted to the investigation.
Well, the FBI was involved, and we do have some of that, but I feel certain we don't have it all.
No, and I think that would be extremely helpful, because that would tell us a lot about, because I think, and then we have the accident reconstruction stuff that was done at Cuss Road. You know, we know that they pulled out the equipment to do that, but we don't have any of that documentation. We have their explanation, but it doesn't jive with the pictures that show what was being used, you know?
Cuss Road was a crime scene in itself, in my opinion, or the aftermath of a crime. One of the two. Something was found there. You don't move 50 officers. You don't move 50 officers, bring in an ambulance, a fire truck, and you don't do that if it's for a couple of old rotten bags of peat moss and a rotten pallet. You just don't do it. It doesn't add up. So,
no.
Yeah, there are photos from there that we can't get. That were taken. And some of the things that again goes back to FOIAs and how they're written. I'll give you for instance, and George, you might get a kick out of this. I think that it was you that had FOIA'd the Grand Chute photographs, and I believe they're labeled F1 or F. They're F something.
Yeah, F1. Yeah.
In that discovery.
Yeah. Then the FOIA code.
Yep. They're listed that way in the discovery emails. And hey, bam, no problem. He got them, right? There are other photos that are listed as, S1 and other things. And the replies will be, well, if that's an exhibit, you need to contact the Manitowoc County clerk.
Yeah, standard reply, yeah. Or so it's an exhibit, or they contact the DA. That's a stupid, yeah.
Yeah,
stupid
so it's a double or triple standard of how things get released. So that's something else that we need to approach.
And I think that's the entire key to, like Sapper Cop says, we can't put this together because of what they are withholding. They are withholding all of the key pieces that would put all this together.
Yep, I agree.
And they're not releasing them.
I agree, 100%. So, the people that are doing FOIAs, I mean, it's kind of, the first one I did some time ago, it's kind of weird. You think about you're putting yourself out. You can do an anonymous FOIA. That's legal. You don't have to, give your name and all that kind of thing. But, most people do, and that's fine. Your real email address, and that's fine too. It just depends on the person. Not everyone's comfortable though. Because
do you remember your first FOIA? Your first FOIA success?
Not really. Not top of my head. I've written so many.
Okay.
And whacked.
I do. It was pointless, but I remember it. Yep, it was the Brilliant PD Officer Mignon report.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep. That was my very first one.
A success is success, right?
It was one more piece of the puzzle. It showed that their narrative for the burn pit was scripted because, well, for me anyway, because her report is so obviously farcical that you can tell it was written just to give Sipple and Jost a reason to go feel wonky about the burn pit out of the blue.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had the advantage. A lot of these reports that they're written well after the fact. We know that we knew that a long time ago. There was sometimes days, even some of the DCI reports. Yours knows. I mean, we've got some that are written months and even up to a year later of an event. I guess for some things that would be okay, but for most things, I just don't agree with that. There should be a more current kind of report writing that happens, that gets submitted to these officers and special agents superiors. I think it should be pretty often, but I guess I get why sometimes that doesn't happen. But it's like these phone calls I've been trying to get. And there's a DCI report written sometime around November of 2006 of phone calls that happened 12, 13 months prior. What the hell, man? It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. Anyway, I don't know. We've been here now for close to 3 hours. I'm going to let everybody go. Anything else before I do that?
I do have one more thing.
Yep.
Okay, so Sapercop mentioned a good point about questioning Buting, Buting's the only one we could get into contact with, about how the death certificate was admitted. And I have information that won't answer that question, but might highlight the need to ask the question of Buting. So in the stipulation project emails between Kratz and Strang, Kratz says, this email is shown in Making Murderer 2, but it's also included as Exhibit 5 to her motion to supplement regarding the Dassey computer. Kratz says, I'm going to take another stab at the stipulation project. And he lists a bunch of paragraphs. And for paragraph O, he wants the defense to stipulate to the admission of Teresa Halbach's death certificate. By the way, this is about 1 week before the trial begins. So this is after everything else we've talked about chronologically regarding the death certificate.
Yeah.
Kratz says, this is a great example of a self-authenticating record, but this stipulation eliminates Mike Klaser, the Calumet County medical examiner, from having to testify. And then in response to that, Strang simply said, we will not stipulate to the admission of the death certificate or stipulate away the testimony of Mike Klaser. So again, that's another example of Kratz trying to say, we don't want him on the stand, we just want the death certificate admitted. And Dean Strang is saying, no, we're not going to stipulate that. We want to have Klaser take the stand in order to have the death certificate admitted as evidence. So this was, I'll get an exact date here. This was on February 4th. And so very shortly before the trial.
Yeah.
The defense is on record. Yeah, the defense is on record saying, no, we're not going to stipulate away the testimony of Mike Klaser, and we're not going to stipulate to the admission of the death certificate. But somehow, when the trial came around, it was admitted without question or concern, it seems.
That's interesting.
So this is part of that gentleman's agreement, most likely.
No, that was different.
That was something about the guns, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of different gentlemen's agreements made, personally. So probably Kratz agreed to drop something that wouldn't benefit Stephen at all, and Buting and Strang were unfortunately naive enough to think it would, and that's how he got it in. I mean, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, this decision and order that you linked me, it's got a number of things. The court will address the offer of proof by the numbered paragraphs included in the state's December 13, 2006 offer of proof. And it lists a whole host. The defendant has no objection to this evidence, and subject to adequate foundation, it is admissible. Why? This just goes on. I'm going to have to read this. This is really interesting. I just don't know how I missed it. But anyway, I did. Anyway, anything else? Thank you, Tim Tedious. Anything else anybody wants to throw in before we jet off here? Straight.
If you got another hour, we could talk about Ryan.
Well, I'd have to get Jinx to the floor then. That's
right.
Oh, Jinx left. What a rascal. Yeah, we could talk about him for about an hour, but yeah, we'll save that for Jinx to do another day. Anyway, want to thank obviously Christina for sharing her results of her FOIA. Really appreciate that, and really appreciate everybody taking the time to come and join us and take the information away and then do your own research. Everything will be linked in the description. Give me a few minutes after we get done here to get all that in there. And
if it hadn't have been for all of y'all, I never would have done it. So I thank everyone in the community.
Absolutely.
We got a bunch of great people working together, just trying to find the truth.
That's right. That's exactly what. That's what I want, the truth. Wherever that leads, the guys walking out or not walking out. I want the full story because the jury did not get it. They didn't, and that's the only way they could make a decision, and that's what really matters. Doesn't matter what was in making a murderer. That had nothing to do with what happened in 2007. Nothing. So anyway, keep running FOIAs. If you need help, reach out and ask. One of us will help you the best we can.
Yeah, you can message me on Twitter, Discord, Reddit.
Yep.
Anything like that. If I don't know the answer, I will find somebody who does.
There you go. Keep plugging away, guys. This has been a Foul Play production.